ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 669 episode of the
Nice.
GeekVerse podcast. Throw up, where's that Superman photo? But I know it's only 69, but I am the bitch, Trask now, and I'm joined by...
I am hashtag super spy. Oh yeah.
What a way to bring in 69.
I'm the T-Sphere, Taylor Field.
You with us, Taylor? You said your CPU's frozen there?
I mean, I sent you guys a screenshot. You guys are completely frozen. Kirkland's not even in his chair, but I can hear you guys.
Right now you can't see
Yeah,
me?
no, I sent you a screenshot in the chat. It's it's just ominous.
It's just ominous. It's like, that is what Taylor's podcast was. An empty seat right now. My God.
I
But
like it.
yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are here. This is a big one because we've talked about this many times. You know, only plug I'm going to give right now and some plugs later is August 9th is our 10-year anniversary stream. We're going to do at least 10 hours. We could do more if you either join Patreon that day or up your tier. That's to support all the content we do for the year and the content we do next year. So exclusive episodes, retros, all that good jazz. We very much appreciate it. 7 events, montages of the past 10 years, guests, announcement, lots of things. So come join us August 9th, GV Day, the 10 year. But the reason I'm saying that, not just to promote it, in this 10 year, we've done so much stuff, right? We've seen, Endgame that happened. We were here for when Force Awakens came back. We were here when Dexter came back, and when Dexter came back again. Taylor's loving this memory. He's loving going down memory lane, ladies and gentlemen. The grin on his face, man. This
Am
is
I
the
frozen?
happiest. This is the happiest I've ever
He's a
seen.
victim in smile.
Take a photo. Take a
That's
photo.
what
I
he
gotta
looks
see
like.
it.
It's gone
Oh,
now. It's
it's
gone,
gone
now.
now.
You
It's
look
even
like
creepier
you
right
look like
now.
Batman '89 when Joker kills the people, and they're like they're stuck like that. But anyways, there's been lots of firsts, right? Like I said, Dexter came back and came back again. But this is and we've technically been here a few times with like The Mummy and maybe some other stuff. But for a start of a franchise and start of a new universe, this to me, and for DC, this is a real first because we came in through BVS. That was our first one we did. So there's been lots of firsts, but this has been a long time in the making. This has been like what I think 2021, 2022, 2023 is when this has kind of been cooking up, and here we are, the dawn of the DCU. I know you guys did review Creature Commandos, but even Gunn said like, oh, that's a soft launch. This is the real launch. So lots of big stuff where we have a new Superman, a new Lois Lane, a new Lex Luthor, and other characters to see for the first time. A new movie from James Gunn, a new Superman movie, and a new step into the DCU. So, because of CPU, I don't know how it's going to go. Kirkland Patzer, I'm going to let you embark us on this journey. You're going to be our Frodo, our Gandalf. You're going to lead us, maybe to Mount Doom, to Riverdale. I don't know where this review is going to go.
The Fortress of Solitude, perhaps.
Yeah, exactly. We've not actually, because sometimes there's stuff in the car or whatnot. Even me and Taylor talked about one thing, but I don't know how Taylor thinks. I don't know what Kirkland thinks. So I have no idea. And we were in the same theater, but we weren't together. I guess you two were together, right? But I wasn't. So like sometimes like Jurassic
Taylor
World.
wasn't talking to me.
Yeah, no. He's like, I don't know that guy.
have
Like
another
Jurassic
friend.
World, when we're watching, I'm like, I know how Kirkland feels. Like I got a good idea and I know how Taylor feels. But this is a big venture. So Kirkland, start us off. First cinematic adventure of the DCU. What were your thoughts? Of course, if anyone's listening for the first time, non-spoilers. We will give you a warning when we go into spoilers. So Kirkland Patzer, the floor is yours.
The floor is mine. Yeah. It's funny. I feel like I didn't really think of it in the moment that like this is really embarking on the whole new era of
We hope.
we hope of the new and improved James
Warner
Gunn,
Brothers
Peter
sold on Sunday.
Safran, DC universe, the Bullet universe, whatever we're calling it. Do they have a name? Is it just the James Gunn universe?
This is DCU, DC Cinematic Universe,
Just
which they were
DCU?
smart.
Okay.
It's smart. That's the way, even though it's...
Oh no. We pulled the plug. I guess I'll speak now.
I'm still here.
Yeah, no. Taylorfield's still here. Yeah, I mean, coming into it, I feel like my hype wasn't like super, super high until like today. Of course, we did our in-person predictions cast. That was lots of fun. But like today, thinking about going to the movies, see Superman, like I was really buzzing today, looking forward to this one. And I had a great time, like super keeping it simple. I had such a great time this evening watching this movie. I think there's certain like plot developments that kind of had me teetering on the fence of like, oh no, I'm really not going to like this at all. Like maybe we just rush into certain aspects of the, I guess I'll call them a threat for our superhero this time around. But as the story progressed, and I feel like there is one more of those moments that I will shout out later on in spoilers, but like all of that being said, I feel like just all the stuff in between, the fun, like comedy, the action, the characters. I really, really enjoyed David Cornsweet as our Superman. I totally just see him as our Clark Kent. Like I think he did a great job. Lois did a fantastic job. I'm sorry if you can hear squeaking. My crypto is just going off.
We're
Yeah.
dog positive people here. Yeah.
The exact same energy of crypto in this movie. That is my current dog right now, and he's just going off. So we'll see how this goes. But
Marco, no! Get out of there. Where's my dog? Where's my dog?
but man, such a fun time tonight. Like I feel like I was laughing. There was some cameos I wasn't really prepared for, and
like this one.
it was such a great time. It was highly recommend. It was a great theater experience. I feel like the action scenes, like it just felt like we had so many different action scenes of different scales in this movie, and it felt like it was paced well. Like I didn't feel like there was a big lull between action set pieces, and I thought they all looked really good. I thought the score was really good. Definitely want to listen to the track when I can. So maybe tomorrow at work, if it's, I assume it would be available, right? They usually drop it early.
Yeah, I think it's all available right now. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I highly recommend this. I think this is like a superhero movie to see in theaters right now. So I think it definitely lived up to the hype, and yeah, it was a fun time.
So a good start for the DCU for you then.
Absolutely, yeah. James Gunn we trust, and Jennifer Holland, and the usual
of course,
suspects.
Jennifer Holland's the brains behind behind every great man's a better woman, right? We got to thank Jennifer
That's right.
Holland. She was the first person they thanked on the thank you, so clearly, you got to thank her. But all jokes, I actually like her as an actress, and I'm excited to see her in Peacemaker, which is next month. We got another DCU chapter coming. That's the thing. We do all this stuff. I will say to the boys here, try not to, if you want to give any comparisons, make them vague, because next week for the patrons, we will be recording our Superman rankings, because we did do a Superman retrospective where we watched every single Superman movie from the Reeves one to Supergirl to Superman Returns. We had already reviewed Man of Steel and BVS, so those were in the past, but those will be included in the ranking. So it's gonna be a ranking that has the most space in between from when we did the retros and the other movies. But that's why you boys, you got 8 days to think about best scenes, best movies, etc. So if you say anything, keep it vague. But where does it compare against Superman the movie or Man of Steel? Well, you'll have to become Patreon and find out next week. But Taylor Field, like I said, I don't know many of your thoughts except for one. So what did you think? Because I feel like out of everybody on the podcast, I feel like you're the most pessimistic about
James Gunn.
some James Gunn stuff, some things he said, and not anything serious, but just like, I don't think you were worried. I think you just had, a high alarm up of, okay, is what he's saying going to work in this movie? And even stuff like the Justice Gang. I felt like, Nicholas Hoult, which I'll have to ask Kirkland after, but I feel like you had a lot of question marks here. So questions that needed answering. Were they answered in a good way, or are you still left for concerns when we venture back into the DCU, August next year with Supergirl, etc.?
Oh, I think he butchered the franchise. No, I think this. I fucking love Snyder. No, I think that before getting into this movie, I was concerned about what kind of a Superman we were going to be getting, because the trailers made me think that we were going to be getting a very different type of Superman who is huffy puffy and I thought, I don't want that kind of Superman who just gets pouty. Huffy and puffy and pouty, just things aren't going his way, he gets pouty and frustrated really quick. And someone who wasn't like all there, like very mature about situations, I guess what I'm trying to say.
Don't want no man-child woke Superman.
Yeah, man-child Superman. But that was my take from
Superman,
some of the trailers. Now, Superman we got in the movie, Dave just fit the role so
Don't call
You
him.
got nicknames for him now.
we don't know on that level yet,
I was there with him since Twisters. Now here we are.
Pearl.
Yeah,
Don't
we
forget
were.
Pearl. Remember?
Yeah,
And Pearl.
Pearl, that's right. Got a hair in my mouth. So I think
Nice. Shouts out to Dave.
yeah, one of those David hairs. He's just he's just fantastic. He really, really is. And I there were so many moments where he's just that score kicks in, he's just there on screen, and I'm just looking at him like, oh, that's Superman. That's Superman.
Did you
And
come on? You saw it? Oh,
no,
it's
we're in
Superman!
public. We're in public. But he's great, and I think everyone just really brought it. Not all the comedic beats hit me. I'd say like 90% worked for me, and there is
wow.
like, well, maybe like 95% worked for
I
me.
feel,
But
like
there's
that's
a
not even, I feel like that's not even showing out that none of the beats work for you. 5% of the beats didn't work for you.
95%,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's pretty high.
pretty much the 5% was just like the one scene pretty much just didn't work for me, but the rest were all they were good. And yeah, it's yeah, like for like James Gunn, he does a damn good job at his projects. He really does. The stuff that I was just nitpicking, it was making me laugh, just certain comments and and things.
Derek, shouts out to Dave. SPub's classic Taylor first name basis with actors. Sammy says the iTunes reviewers are going to love the squeaky toy. Yeah, that's okay. We'll dock off Kirkland's pay next month. You know, there you go. He can thank Marco for that.
But yeah, I think like James Gunn, there were so many sequences in here and just captivating cinematic moments. So
James Gunn, the visionary. He's
This is a full
Nolan
180
now.
for Taylor.
I always just
95% of this movie worked for me, but that 5%.
they'll probably hate on me, but I'm just gonna say it because I think it just cracks
Don't
me
do
up when
this.
James Gunn just like he puts himself in the marketing, puts himself in this and
here
that.
we go.
That just makes me laugh, and so I like to nitpick on him and pick on that a little bit because I just think I haven't really seen anyone else do that before, so I think that's why it's different from the norm. So I like to make fun of it a little bit.
I was expecting him to be the Tom Cruise before the movie, honestly. Thanks for coming.
Thank you
out to
for
see-
coming.
Yeah. I just keep seeing that now in films. It throws me off. How to Train Your Dragon had it.
We've joked about this in the chats, but man, Clark and Lois, their chemistry. I haven't. It's been a long time since I've seen chemistry like that.
Taylor.
It's been a long
GV669, that's right.
It's been a long time since I can't even pinpoint a movie before where I've seen that kind of chemistry. Like
Batman? I thought Pattinson and Kravitz had it. You don't think Pattinson and Kravitz
I would say
had it?
same level.
Yeah, I'd
I
say
didn't get
similar.
I didn't get the same level from them. No, this was like
They had sex
Man,
on the Batmobile, remember?
you could if this wasn't if they weren't even filming a movie here. It's like, man, these two are like,
They were
they're
filming
just
a movie.
well, for them, they probably didn't even feel like it was a movie. It was just real life for them. The chemistry they had, though, was just incredible. Oh my God, they embodied the roles. They embodied each other. It was full on, just heated.
They became
and passionate. They were just, oh my gosh. Like there's some moments where like, okay, like she jumps on him and they're kissing and whatnot, and I had half a minute here like, oh man, like she's just start like grinding against him. I felt like in some of these scenes, maybe I was just like imagining it, but I thought I saw
I think you're watching some stuff before.
There's a reason Taylor didn't talk to me during the film.
good passion.
As Bob
Yeah.
says, watch those interviews they've been doing. I believe they're having sex on the Batmobile too. Oh, we're not saying that we didn't have that conversation, but again, Taylor's referring to these conversations like they're or out there, you know. But you know, whatever. Just great actors. They're great actors. Nothing's going on.
Oh yeah, very, very, very good.
Yeah. You done?
Oh yeah, take it away. Take it away.
All right. You done, Tay?
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I'm in an interesting spot with this one. I'm definitely gonna need a second watch. I'm gonna need some time to think about it. I think this film runs the gamut of there's things in here I absolutely love. There's things that I'm middling on, and then I think there's some really bad stuff in here. And I think it's like for the comic book stuff, I think it's definitely on the lower tier of things James Gunn has done. Like I'd put the Guardians ones, all that stuff over there. I'd put Peacemaker over this. Commandos I never finished, so you know TBD. I think I'd put Suicide Squad under this for sure. I enjoyed Suicide Squad, but I don't return back to it much. But there was. I'd say it's, you know, most movies are divided, you know, act 1, act 2, act 3, but really for me, my like and dislike is very much in the halfway point. There's not like a scene or a moment. It just felt like, okay, we're halfway through the movie, and definitely the back half I was enjoying more, but the first half had a lot of issues, had a lot of humor that didn't work for me, not in the sense of, oh, these are really bad jokes, just wasn't really working with me. I feel like this movie definitely needed to be longer, especially near the end. And don't get me wrong, I was liking the back half more, but there's tons of stuff in the back half that just are odd. And I feel like it's I was really hoping what I was excited for with this movie with James Gunn is I hated how, and it's fine, whatever, go get your bag, do whatever. But I hate how he did, two Guardians movies. DC gets him like, what are you gonna do? Well, I'm gonna do the Suicide Squad. It's like, okay, well, it's just like DC Guardians, okay. And then he goes back to Marvel. So what? Do the Guardians. So it's like, okay, what are you gonna do here? And it's like Superman, great, Solo. Even though this has isms of like a big ensemble team up, but the problem is, I'd say where Suicide Squad's better is at the end they show characters celebrating or all together, and they act like it's a big moment, like you're supposed to know these people, and it's like, I don't know a single thing about these people other than their name and a few lines they've had. And it's one of these things where I would cut many things out and replace them with other stuff. I'm not sure. At one point, we heard this movie was 220, then it got cut down, maybe, and maybe that 220 version didn't work. It's not as good. It feels like it's a little light. I feel, and it's funny. This reminds me a lot of Flash a couple of years ago when we watched that, where there's some stuff that really works, and that's what I was trying to get to right with James Gunn, where I felt okay, Superman. These trailers, I always went, man, this does not feel like a James Gunn movie. And that's not a bad thing for me or not even a good thing, because like I love the Guardians movies. All those movies are 9 to 10 out of 10. Like I have no issue there, and Squad's good. I like Peacemaker a lot. But I was like, with Superman, I don't want that to be that. And the trailers gave me some hope there because I thought it looked very different. Where I think when you get into the movie, there's times where it does feel like it's James Gunn doing something new, but there is a lot of James Gunnisms. There's a action scene that has a music montage to it. It has some of those ensemble moments. It has just kind of weird, quirky stuff, which I think doesn't work. And especially here at times, I don't know if it works with their main crew of people. I think why it works with Guardians and Squad, because they're the weirdos, they're the side characters that are like, oh, we're jerk-offs. Where when you got some of the main, like, who are going to maybe go on to be, like, in the Justice League or pillars of the DCU, it's just like, I don't know if I like these takes, and I don't know if I enjoy this. So the best way I think I could describe it overall is I think he nailed the portion of it feels like an Superman the animated series. And I think that's a good thing and a bad thing. It's a good thing because you get the wonder. You get Superman. Definitely Snyder did this at some point, but this is the most comic book you have seen Superman move. There's some action stuff that he's doing here, which is phenomenal. He's twirling around. I don't care. He takes another superpowered person, picks him up, and uses him as a fucking weapon. Like, there is cool ass comic book stuff in here, and I love it. That's fantastic. But then it's also like an animated show where I feel like when we reviewed X-Men 90, I guess 97 now, but back then and whatnot, there's times where we go, oh, we'd like more, but then we go, well, it's just a cartoon, and we kind of write off, right? We give it like a leeway, like, oh, it's a kid's cartoon. That's what this has sometimes, where it just feels so light and fluffy, not in the content, in just the how deep they go on characters or motivation. Same thing, Taylor's right. They Rachel Brosnahan, who's fantastic as Lois, David Cornstalk, who is fantastic as Clark and Superman, even though I don't like some of the writing they give him. All my issues is with writing, nothing acting wise. We'll see what these guys think. I feel very validated by Nicholas Hoult. I think Nicholas Hoult fucking killed it. He somehow became Leonardo DiCaprio and Tom Cruise and put them into one person in this role. He was fucking on fire. He to me is the top bench here. Alexa, I've been waiting for a while, but he to me even delivered in spades. But that's the thing where you just get dropped into stuff and it just feels like there needs to be more. And with that chemistry, they gotta get great chemistry, but if I feel like I barely got much Superman and Lois in this movie, like it feels like we're missing a lot. So that's where, whether it's deleted or if that's the way the script was functioned and that's where it was always written, that's where it feels like an animated show where it's like, oh, this episode only gets 22 minutes, so you gotta truncate and do the storyline fast. And that's what this feels like, but it's 2 hours and 9, which is not a short thing. It's not like the longest we've seen either, like the Batman being almost 3 hours, but even Guardians to me has worked better that way, where the original Guardians, that's a 2 hour movie that has like 5 main characters. Peter Quill's the main character, but still it has 5 core characters, and I felt like, a way more connected journey with them, where this, I didn't get that with a lot of this stuff, but there's other moments that really do hit. So I'm kind of a mixed bag. Don't know where I am on a score. I have to really wait till we talk it over, because I definitely think a lot of the stuff I disliked a lot was in the first half. So I started to forget about that, but then either I would remember it, or someone would say something like, oh, right, that was in this movie. And there's just things that, just like the Flash, like the whole CGI baby thing. It's like, all right, because I was rewatching the Flash this week. It's like, right, that's in here, and there's other stuff I like. So, and that movie is another movie that's very mixed, and I feel like this is gonna be mixed. If I can't compare it to the Superman stuff, if I'm comparing it to Iron Man, I do think for the DCU, it's a good start. I have some head scratching things. I have some already universe stuff where I'm like, oh, that's how we're going with that. Okay, but you know, I'll wait and see. But I'm invested in certain characters. I thought Mr. Terrific was a big standout, which I did not think was going to be the case. I think Eddie Gathigi, I think is how you say his name, just killed it. And yeah, everyone was great acting wise for the most part. I'll say maybe the engineer was a little lacking in my scorecard there. But for the DCU, to compare to like an Iron Man, that's a very interesting situation because Iron Man to me is like miles better of a movie, but this definitely has a lot more to do and feels more of a lived-in universe already than Iron Man did. Where at the end, it's just like, "Hey, you heard about the Avengers?" Well, no, because you're just talking to me now, Nick. So I'm on a positive foot in the DCU. I really want to see how this is working after we get Peacemaker, Supergirl, and Clayface. Those are the next three projects within a year. I really want to see how does this universe now function when it's not James Gunn doing it. And I think I'm okay with James Gunn doing Superman 2. I will say after this, though, I would very much prefer James Gunn not do Justice League. I think he will. I think he's going to be the head honcho. He's going to take that on. But there's just certain comedic notes or there's certain things that I don't know if I want Batman doing this. I don't know if I want Diana Prince doing this stuff. Even Corn Sweat at times, I think they made him like there's just certain things like it's a minor spoiler, but when they have that scene, they're going back and forth, and he's just like, I don't like super shit. Like, there's just certain lines where like I don't know if I this is not how I really. I can't say envision Superman because I think he did hit that multiple times, but there's things that just don't jive me. It feels almost too Peter Quill ish. So yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna see. Still, I recommend it. Gwen and Logan came with me. They're 7.5. They really enjoyed it. Logan, I asked her what her favorite part was. She said all the parts. They were really looking forward to this. So I think it's a fun popcorn movie. But I don't know how it's gonna hit with everybody because when we saw Jurassic World, people clapped. No one clapped at the end of this. And I will say, the two other things quickly because I'll forget about them. I'll say it's like a positive thing. Love that I felt like the effects for the most part were looking very, very good, and the use of it felt like as many times as possible they could use a real location they could. Where I feel like in so many blockbusters or the MCU, that's been a big thing where it's like, man, these guys are just walking on what's the place called again?
Volume.
The volume or a green screen. It's like, oh right, they reshot this really quick. Like it felt way more like a real world. And I will say this movie is covering Detold, get out of here. Are you saying Jurassic World was better? No. It just I think it's just I was hoping this was gonna be not all time great. Was not expecting for it to be, Logan, Dark Knight, the Batman, not that, but where I expected to be, I don't know if it hit it. And we'll talk about that. But the other thing is this movie is way more political, way more current than anything the MCU is doing. I can't remember what movie we were talking about. I think it was Captain America: Brave New World. That's a whole movie about politics and the president. Not once do they talk about the right or the left or conservative or liberal. You have a character in this movie use the words liberal and conservative. And the whole war thing is a 1-to-1 for Palestine and Israel. This movie, and that's where I think it's going to turn some people off. That for me is a pro. That's where it's like, I wish we got deeper in this stuff of be different than the MCU. The MCU's a little scared to get we don't want to get too far. Like the president, they've had 18 different presidents in the MCU because it's just like a cartoon character. Where this, I saw flashes of, no pun intended, we could get into some real life deeper stuff. So that's some credit I could give it. So that's where we're going to talk about, but I also need some other watches on there. So anything else? And yeah, score I thought was really good too. I'm trying to think of anything else non-spoiler, but anything else non-spoilers to get to?
I think I just want to start in the spoilers, so I'll hold my tongue.
Okay, we're going to take our first ad break. So if you've not seen the movie, come back. It'll be waiting there, and we will be right back. And if you didn't want that ad break, quickly, down below, everything you need to know. That's where you can find some video, audio, but Patreon is the best place to listen and support us because you get a bevy of content ad-free. Every episode we do is ad-free on there. If you go on Phase 5 and up, you get exclusive episodes. We just did our top 10 movies of all time in honor of our tenure. The Superman rankings is next week. Lots of good stuff. You can join our trivia for GV Day. You can call them after 9. You can get the Superman retrospective, which we review them all. Fantastic Four. We just did, what was the other one we did this year? Mission Impossible. Lots of good stuff there. So if you enjoy this review and want to show us some love, we'd very much appreciate that. You can go in there, look at all the different tiers, and we review all this geek stuff: Star Wars, DC, Marvel. We do weekly reviews. Dexter's back. We'll be here with Fantastic Four, and we're all about just having a fun time here. And a big shout out to our Patreon producers that get all the tiers or all the benefits: Aaron Braden, April Darkness, Jack Rant, Sam, Superbad Mike, God Loves Me 69, Jeremy Renner, Charlie Rendell, and Cocktail Clay. So I know Taylor's thoughts, but I want to start with this. Kirkland Patzer, I was, beaked about while I was off. I heard the casts. Where are you on Nicholas Holt's Lex Luthor now that you've seen it in all its glory?
Yes, I have seen it now, and man, what a performance by the
suck
great
it,
Nicholas
Trebek.
Holt.
Hit the DX
I was
crotch
very
off. These guys,
impressed.
after Nosferatu, that's the sequel.
Nosferatu.
After Nosferatu, these guys doubted. They both gave me a double look when I think Holt's going to steal this movie. They're like, I don't know about that. I was like, what?
We're just egging you on. We knew the whole time. Come on, we like to fuck with you, just like Mr. Terrific and the Green Lantern here.
That's fair.
No, I feel like many times it just seemed like he had infinite resources, which is like, I'm splitting hairs because like many just rich, like super billionaire, villains in these superhero movies are just, they have that, whether it's Justin Hammer or whoever it might be. Like they just have a pocket dimension and teleporters everywhere and just army, like basically just his own private army. That I feel like some of those little details were like bother me initially, but like I'm like, this is just such a great like combatant for our Superman. Like he's just this like how do you make Superman not just invincible? And I feel like they did a really good job, especially just balancing, like you said, with like the political stuff and just the social media image. Like that was such a big part of this movie. It starts right from the beginning of just like him being someone of controversy because of him like stepping into a military conflict. And but for Nicholas Holt specifically, I thought he was just on fire. Like he brought his A game. There's many like monologue sequences he's doing, and he's just like spitting and foaming at the mouth. And I'm like, man, he's eating this up. And
that's where he reminded me from Leo from Django. When he has that dinner table scene. I'm not trying to say he got to those heights, but that's where it reminded me of that. And I saw
he
other
didn't get
people.
stitches. He's a coward.
Not yet.
He didn't go all in.
Yeah, not yet. No Oscar for him. Well, I guess Leo didn't get it either. But and also other people had said this, but yeah, it was a very, for me, Tom Cruise coded like performance. That he had some Cruise-isms, not just because we've been like bringing up the what we do in Father's Day. Don't do it, like because we've been memeing on him and stuff. It's not that. It's just like he had just ticks about him, and obviously again, it's like other stuff where we have so many movies that are doing the whole president parrying the Trump thing. Clearly that like they're doing the Elon thing here where multiple kind of allusions, the social media stuff, like that's where there's certain things. Nothing with Holt. I don't know, because we had heard this rumor. I still don't know how I feel with the monkey bots or whatever.
That worked on me.
I thought that was
fucking
great.
Hilarious.
Taylor and I were eating that up. I was
There you
laughing.
go. There you go. I'm indifferent. I need some time to think on it. Just like, oh, there's my monkeys. They've been shit talking you for years and stuff, and then they're just going like, it's one of those things like
It's so cheesy and corny, but I feel like that's just sprinkled throughout this movie, and like many of those moments don't hit with me, but like I just feel like the random ones do get me, and it's like we don't linger on it too much. It's not like a plot device of like we got to stop the monkey bots or anything like that.
God.
It's just there. It's like, oh, here's my infinite monkey bots that are just shit talking Superman. Like it's just so stupid, but
all the hashtags they're typing really fast.
Yeah.
Like, it's like,
who would ever like listen to this idiot? Especially just because I see garbage like that all. Like I'm not even really active on social media, but you just always see it. It's hard to avoid it. So it's just,
but
it's funny
it's
like calling those types of people basically what that is, or they're actually bots.
And it's the long-term joke set up too, where earlier on they make him get pissed off about like super shit, right? And you laugh about that.
I didn't like that line.
I
No.
didn't
You didn't like that?
No,
That made me laugh.
I was fine with him. I was
I
fine
like
with
super
him.
spy, but not super shit. That was one
Yeah,
step too
I was
far.
fine with him getting heated about certain things in that argument, but when she's like, "Oh, the hashtag super spy, super shitty," it's like, "Come on, you know I don't like that." It just, I, I don't know. I just feel, I guess I could be wrong. I just felt like he's a grown man. Like I know they're like this is a young Superman, but they still establish, hey, he's been doing this for 3 years, and I just. I find it hard for any. I don't know. I just the fact that hashtag super shit is like getting to him. I don't know. I get. I think I kind of get what they're going for. Especially she's like, oh yeah, you're online law, and Superman's like, oh, I never look at that stuff. And then because she's actually Lois dating him, she's like, I know you look at that and you hate it, but I I just sometimes wonder if that was Taylor. You questioned him about this, like that almost felt like James Gunn stuff, like bleeding into it, which was like, I don't want this blood in here. Like I don't want the social media stuff where we always talk about. It's like sometimes like why is he answering this person or why is he talking to this person? It's just like that's where it felt like I feel like is that James Gunn? Like I think that is James Gunn. Where if someone were to say like gun cuck, he'd be like, "You see this Jennifer? They're calling like that's where it just felt like I don't think
I
this is
don't like
Superman. I don't think this is Superman talking. I think this is James, which should be right. It's a director. I guess just sometimes you got to find the balance of where that happens. And I did not like him getting mad at that because he felt very very childish and not in a good way.
Last thing I'll say on Nicholas Hoult before we veer off too much. I definitely have never seen a Lex Luthor performance like this, and it was. I don't know. You were comparing it to what, like animated series or something?
Well, that's what I thought it was gonna be, but
in
it
the
ended
trailers
up,
at least, yeah.
he had when he's doing the talking.
Like he's a
to
sleek businessman, so I can definitely see like the
Yeah.
image at least with the suits and everything.
And I think like when he was on the news talking about the footage, he came off as like a good political, like a in the middle political figure of like, hey, I'm just here. I want to help everybody. I have this footage and it's very scary. It didn't come off mustache twirly in the public. Eventually, obviously behind closed doors. I think that was like the animated series. Behind closed doors, he was much more kind of. You guys haven't read this, but there's a run which lots of it was based off All Star Superman, where he is very, I won't say eccentric, but has a very big personality. So there's isms of this. So that's where I thought they're going one way with Lex, and they kind of did, but they went a different way. But I still thought he was it was fantastic, that stuff. And I think they nailed, out of all the live action interpretations, they nailed that Lex Luthor fucking hates Superman. I never felt that from Gene Hackman. I never really felt that with Eisenberg. Eisenberg was more power struggle. This was at the end when he's like, everyone thinks I like got to get you out of the way so I can keep this war going. He's like, no, I just started this fucking war so I could kill you. That was just like the hater of the year move right there. Of he started a whole war between countries because he wants to take out one guy. And what I love too is like, yeah, I am envy. He's talking about like Galileo and Einstein, but the problem is he's modern genius, and he's not being appreciated because there's a guy that can fucking fly, and he's livid about it. So I think that's where writing wise and performance, this Lex Luthor fucking hates Superman, and I love it. He's seething.
So good, loved it. And I also loved how he just had like infinite gadgets, and like I was already mentioned, like he just at points it's like, okay, he's just got these fucking portals to his pocket dimension, like wherever he wants. Like he's just so in another tier of like supervillains that I've seen in the past. But like his distraction, like before he tears a rift into the whole world, is he just throws out this little like lizard thing that just grows, and like we don't really like focus where it came from or like how it works. It's just okay, yeah, it just grows and it just pops off in the town, and it's just fun thinking of like it being like a Saturday morning cartoon of like, this is the threat this week, where there's just some monster that grows. Yeah. So I thought that was really fantastic, and of course it's just all coming from Lex and his like Chiron like fucking like ferryman in like the pocket. Like we don't even like explain who the fuck that is, but it's just such an interesting character design.
Like the guy that's the boatman and everything.
Yeah,
that's a white Martian in the DC universe.
Ooh,
so
there you
go. I'm sure we get
Black
more
Martians
into that
too?
stuff. Of course, there's. I don't know if there's a Black Martian, but like I think there's somehow tied to like obviously you got Martian Manhunter. So I'm not the biggest DC. I am a DC fan, but I don't know the lore as well as Marvel and stuff. But
fair enough.
yeah, two things here. Sam used 100% right. Jack O'Connell, Nick Holt leading the Skins Revolution. Yeah, that's Golem Geeks. Jack O'Connell for Sinners and Nicholas Holt for this. Like, they're my two top dogs right now for Golem Geeks best villain by far. And then Espo says he's kind of like a weird. He kind of did the weird Jesse Eisenberg Lex freakouts, but better. And I agree. And I think that the issue with that was, Jesse's Lex was all like he's just always weird, right? So when Lex Luthor's kind of flipped into being like a petulant child or like those freakouts, it worked because it was in certain moments. It wasn't like all the time, and that's what I like is I got a grasp on who Lex is, but not completely. It's kind of like a Dexter thing where it's like how much of him is real and how much is it is a mask. And I feel like we still haven't seen all that. And I like that because, they kept him alive. Thank God. I didn't like that they caught him because I kind of was hoping we'd go a few more movies with people not knowing for sure Lex is a bad guy. But it doesn't matter. As we've seen today in the political world, you can be arrested for whatever. And as long as you make a good case, people are like, yeah, I understand Lex. And no, like you talk about his gadgets. I love that they kind of, oh my God, sorry. Just dry air right there. When I hope at some point we get him to meet the DCU Batman, and that's what at times he felt like. He felt like the anti-Batman. He felt like the guy that could match him where not only the gadgets, but like you're talking about the creature or when he's doing, okay, we're going to open up the black hole, but then we also got the war going on. It just felt like he had a plan for the plan and the backup plan. Like what we meme on Batman, right? Like, oh, how could he beat Scarlet Witch? Like, well, prep time. That Lex Luthor felt like, oh, how could he do this? Well, prep time. So that's why I like that that's a good dichotomy where Lex actually felt threatening, where again Gene Hackman never felt threatening to me, and Eisenberg he did feel threatening because he was rich, but this guy feels like he's threatening in multiple ways. Even though one thing I will say before I pass to Taylor on Lex, I will say at the end when him and Superman's speech, I liked all that. That was good. I referred to that already. I actually got jump scared with Crypto jumping on Gundam. I was not expecting that, and just to die the screen, I was like, geez. They gave him the Loki Hulk ending from Avengers, though, where literally he's in the middle of a big speech, he gets picked up and thrown around the room. So that's all I could think of, and I think I'll bring up there's multiple times in this movie where there's just too close of echoes to other things that we've seen like in the last 10 to 15 years, but they did the exact same ending where mean villain makes a big speech to the hero and then he kind of gets treated as a joke. I kind of wish they cut that and they just arrested him. I didn't need another Crypto zinger there at the end. So Taylor, Lex?
Yeah, I mean, I eat my words because this character was
Eat it.
just eat it. It was just fantastic.
Eat it.
Yeah, like Holt just delivered, really, really did, and yeah, he was terrifying. There were some moments that were completely leaving me like in awe of just like his hatred and whatnot, and scary. Like you see in the trailer that one scene of him wearing his suit and he's got the revolver and whatnot, but now the context of that too, like just absolutely terrifying. Didn't waste any time in just executing that guy playing Russian roulette with that thing. And right in front of Superman too, like Superman's crying, and it's like you can hit those comedic beats, but just as they're funny, you can hit those very serious, tense moments with these characters, and it's just like, God damn! And he's going away, and he's like, I'll get the reporter, maybe I'll get Clark Kent or whatnot. It's like, fuck, what do you do in this situation? And you got Gaseous over there. He killed that guy.
Oh man, I was eating it up.
I heard you guys
guy.
laughing about
I
him.
was not ready for his voice at all. I was expecting to be like very deep and gravelly and just like. Yeah, just really carry a weight to it, and he's just freaking out. He killed that guy. Like, how do we get out of here?
Didn't do
Can you really
anything.
save my son? And then later on with Green Lantern, with what are they even called? The
Justice Gang.
Justice Gang.
I like
I
that
love
name.
that name. That's awesome. Like, he just sounded so dirty.
You're in.
But yeah, I'm very happy with the performance, and I'd love to see more of what that character has and what can be done. Because yeah, he was great. And again, those moments we talked about in the car ride home, Travis, when he's pissed off because Superman got out and he like smashes the mug and it hits the ground. He's like, pick that up, and then they pick it up and put it on the counter, and then he whacks it off. They start picking the pencils back up again, just all that kind of stuff. And
Or even the
great.
scene like what I like is it wasn't played for laughs and it could have been when he tells Tessmacher to get out because she's a dumb bitch and he just randomly picks up something to throw at her, and that just felt like legitimately like a real abusive boyfriend or girlfriend, that situation, because it wasn't like they could have had Holt play that for jokey and because Tessmacher's kind of dumb character that could have been a laugh, but it wasn't. It was a dead serious like, oh my God, like he's literally abusing his girlfriend right now in front of her. Like they did. That's what I'm so interested in with this character. They did nothing to make him redeemable. Yet Superman set him up to be redeemable. The last thing he says, because in great speech by Corn Sweat about, oh, you're, he didn't say you're a fucking alien to Superman, but he says something like that, right? And Superman's like, I am, but what makes me good is the human qualities, the failing, caring for others, waking up and putting one foot forward and all that stuff. Being human's my best quality. And then when he said, and when you realize that one day, it'll be your best quality too, which was very odd for me because I was like, man, like, I feel like we didn't get set up to Loki being redeemed like way later on. And it's like, oh, and I did not even have my bingo card that Lex would ever be redeemed. So that tells me at some point, if the DCU continues, we're going to have Superman, and even if it's for a movie or for something, Superman and Lex will team up and maybe you'll see something. But I still very much want Holt in the power suit, like in the cartoon comic book, purple and green power suit, kicking Superman's ass. And that was great where we'll wait till we get to Ultraman. I'll circle back to that. There's just some stuff in that fight scene I liked. A few things here. Espos says an interesting thing in the universe to me was seeing there's no kryptonite on Earth. Lex had to use Metamorpho to access, which I thought was a great way because that character locked up. Great way to use his powers. And two, I know exactly where that kryptonite is. Do you guys know where that kryptonite is?
What? Like on Earth?
Guess? Yeah. Where do you think it is on Earth?
Batman's
It's
cave
in
or
fucking
something?
Batman's cave,
Yeah.
100%. That is my prediction right now. That because that's always a thing. Batman has loads, copious of kryptonite. I guarantee you that's getting revealed, and I hope it's like comic books or animated films where Superman finds that out, and he's like, "That's really fucked up, dude." And Batman's kind of like, "Yeah, but it is what it is." Like he's like, "I will, like, I have." I might kill you because if you fucking freak out, I'm gonna have to do it. So I hope they don't play it for laughs. I hope it is a serious moment of, man, Bruce is really fucked up, and Bruce Wayne's like, I don't care, yeah, I am fucked up. What you gonna do about it? So that's my theory of why there's
It's
no
in the
kryptonite.
script for the Batman Part 2. That's what they write in there.
Imagine that. James reads, he's like, oh, I love it. Just one note. He slides it over, and he's like, it's like interior Batcave. Bruce Wayne closes a container full of kryptonite. Reed's like, kryptonite, but like interesting. No, but I will say that's what I liked with the origin. We got like the Star Wars crawl text that they talked about, and even kryptonite. I love that it wasn't this big. Lex is looking for it. The movie, it's a big reveal. It's just everyone knows about kryptonite. Even that guy, like, what's that kryptonite thing called? It's called kryptonite. But I love that it's just like it's like the Spider-Man spider biter Uncle Ben. It's like we know what kryptonite is. We know what it does. We don't need a whole subplot of can we find it? What does it do to Superman? I just like that everyone knows, hey, this thing could mess up Superman, but there's not a lot of it left. So, I thought that was interesting. So, anything else on Lex, or shall we move on to somewhere else? I'm sure, of course, he'll come up again. We got Ultraman, other stuff to talk about. Should we just knock off the villains right now on the villainous side?
Yeah, let's do it.
Engineer, visually very cool character. Didn't really care for, and I thought acting was a little on the weaker side for me. I thought there was some Kal-El no line readings going on. So
same tier of line delivery. It seemed like a useful tool to have though for like Lex, like in the situations of like how can we just dismantle or hack into this situation or take on Superman bots. Like it just seemed like she was super powerful character, and I mean she even survived that drop like from space, right? Like she said she was knocked out but still breathing. So I thought she fit the dynamic, but definitely nowhere near like wouldn't have worked as like a main villain or anything like that. Just a really good grunt to have, and even just pairing it up with Ultraman and how you have Ultraman that's the clone of Superman, and it's like those two power sets are like very powerful characters. So you have Lex to deal with Superman on like the brain side, but then these powerhouses that it's like actually a really good challenge. And I was gonna keep going in another direction, but I'm gonna pass the baton there to Taylor over there.
Yeah, I think leading the charge doesn't really fly, but I thought the concept of this villain was pretty cool. I like that the idea of using her powers, just the nanites, to just fill up Superman's lungs. And
Oh my
just
God.
stop
When he was
him and
puking it
breathing.
out there.
He was
That
puking
was
it out.
gross.
That was like right out of like Evil Dead, some shit like that. Like it was just, yeah, it was brutal, but a cool character, a cool concept, just with the way they were using their weapons and the way they were doing things. So I really liked that. But yeah, it wasn't like the character wasn't blowing it out of the water. I feel like they definitely talked a lot, not in a not that that's a bad thing, but they had a lot of lines, a lot of things to say. Like when Lex is doing something that's scientific or whatnot with the rift, and then she just comes in after the scientists talk and say, "Da, da, 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 da." It's like,
Mhm.
I thought you were just like a military like fighter, and now you got like the scientific expertise too. Like,
Yeah, I
I
think he
don't
was
know.
trying to just make it that you didn't have two lackeys, right? Because Ultraman already was the quiet one, and he didn't
Mm.
want just like two nobodies just fighting Superman. So I get what they were going for, and obviously they used her for multiple plot devices. And yeah, visually again, she looked good. All those powers, she had some cool fight scenes. Even though there was one scene when they broke into the Fortress of Solitude, she's fighting, and then her body like morphs and does like a
Oh
backflip when she's on her
yes.
feet. It was very cool, but I was like,
Why
why
wouldn't
would
she
the
just
character
turn
not just turn
around?
around?
Yeah,
Yeah.
thought the exact same thing.
There is definitely some of those moments where it's like, this is really cool. Makes no sense, but that's where it's like, this is like a cartoon where it's like, okay, because she's cool and can do this flip. So, um, as Bubs two things said, with her doing so little, I imagine the authorities canceled. Yeah, because it is a character of the authority, and yeah, I think that project is DOA. And did you guys think when he said, "Oh, go get that interviewer Clark Kent that he talked to a bunch"? I took that as he knew, like that was like a joke, like he knew Clark Kent was Superman. Because I
Mm,
guess I was
I
pointing
didn't
out
get that at
with the
all.
DNA, I
yeah.
feel like you'd kind of
It seemed like a
know.
line that you would, but like we don't mention it at any other point. And I
Hmm.
figured since he hates him that much, he would be like either going after his parents or something. Like it just seemed like he would have used that to his
True.
advantage if he really believed that. Um, I didn't like the line. I would have rather him say something about Lois. I feel like that would have just hit harder
But he
personally.
has no
Like
connection to Lois.
he works with
At
her.
this point. No, but no, Superman doesn't. Remember the first interview he ever did
Oh
with
yeah, good
Lois
point actually. So
hasn't been
yeah,
released yet. All it is just Clark Kent and Superman. So there's
I
no
know get
connection with
Jimmy.
Lois.
I know
Yeah,
he's fucking my girlfriend.
just
Like,
pause on
Jimmy,
Jimmy.
well hung gentleman.
Just pause on Jimmy. We'll
like
circle back to that.
I know
for
Lex
sure.
has the DNA, the hair sample of Superman, but you need to
Got
have
the
that
pube.
base foundation, that DNA of Clark to match it up against. Otherwise, you just put into a database. You can't match it with anyone. You
Yeah,
need to
that's
have
fair.
that archive there. So I think genuinely he just didn't know that it was Clark Kent. And then obviously Guy Gardner was just popping off and spouting random shit. But like, is the glasses thing a real thing? Is there?
It
Because he
is.
said
So
like that was. He
I
said
was
it from
gonna
a place that he knew.
No, I was going to ask you guys about this. So I guess Gunn shows a bunch of interviews, but he was talking with Tom King when he was writing the script. He's a great comic book writer, and he's like, the only thing I can't get past is the glasses. He thinks it's so goofy, like the whole like how does no one know Clark Kent is Superman, right? And then he referred back to something like from the '60s or something where there is like these Hypto glasses. I guess my confusion with that is I don't really care. I'm fine because I've seen some people. Oh, that's lame. That's fine because I think it does make sense. I know people have done like one time Henry Cavill posted him in Times Square and it was next to a Superman poster and he's like, I guess the glasses do make a difference because like no one recognizes him, but it's like no, the difference is no one gives like it's Superman's a fucking fictional character. In real life, if there was a Superman, people would be doing like fucking you have Facebook investigators doing true crime stuff. They would find out
Facial
Clark
recognition.
Yes,
Yeah.
like that's where it's I've never bought the like oh people don't know us in public. It's like Superman would be literally if God was on Earth. That's the thing, right? So for me, I am fine with that being the excuse of Hypto glasses. I guess the thing I just ask is why does he have to act kind of goofy then and kind of weird? With Christopher Reeve, it made sense of okay, he's gonna act like a total nerd and loser, so no one puts two and two together, right? But if these glasses do the job and you look nothing like Clark
But
Kent,
like
technically.
Superman also kind of acts like a goof, anyways. Like I just feel like
But
that's the
not to
vibe
this
of
extent
this
where he's like in the
character.
crowd when he's like bumbling around and he's like dropping his coffee. Like he is, but
Yeah,
I feel like he's trying to do the Reeve thing where he's a bit of a nerd. So I'm like, why? And maybe that is just it. I just felt like we talked about this before when he's walking through the crowd of people. He's like Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, where it's like people are bumping into him and it's like, get out of the way, freak.
just a
No one calls him
method
freak
actor.
in this movie. So yeah, I don't know, but yeah, I have no problem. But yeah, the glasses is a canon thing, and that's where I guess it is in this
Mm.
universe, which I would I don't need it, but I would be curious then how Lois. I would like to find out, and actually, it is a con for me. I would like to find out in this movie how she found out Clark was Superman if he has these glasses that can hypnotize people that show that
Mm.
he's not Superman.
I didn't take them literally at all. I thought it was just like a joke in the
Oh yeah,
script
no.
because like Guy Gardner is just seeing him as a different person, and then like follows up. It's like, do you know he's Clark Kent? Like that line worked for me, but yeah, I don't know. I didn't know that was a thing at all in the mythos of Superman, and I don't really need that. I feel like I'm okay. Like it's kind of running joke at this point, but yeah, I don't really care about it being believable or not with
Yeah,
the glasses.
just suspend disbelief for watching.
And like, yeah, if he's acting goofy, like to me, that's just the Clark Kent version of Superman. So it fits with what I would have expected the character to be. And we don't have a lot of time really with Clark Kent as being like Clark Kent at all in this movie. It's like really
No.
just that one sequence.
It's
And
much
he's
like
like
the
writing
Batman,
articles,
right?
interviewing. Sorry.
It's like the Batman, where Bruce Wayne's barely
Yeah,
in the movie.
100%.
You know? So
Yeah, which
not
yeah,
a con. It's just something to observe where we usually get the double, right, or
Mhm.
60-40. So
and what you were mentioning with Lois, like we'll talk more about her, but like something that I thought this movie did really well actually, and maybe a bold move, like at the start, just with the whole like three what did it say, 300 years, and then 3 decades, and then 3 years. 3 minutes and just like I actually really like that setup with like
Yeah.
how it just set up where we are in this universe. Like we're starting this DCU and it's already established. It's not like Iron Man where like we didn't have Thor and stuff out there. It's like we already have metahumans. They're talking about metahumans and we're 3 years into Superman on this journey. We have Crypto in here. We have Supergirl and
did
just
you like the threes though? That's where I found it a little like okay.
yeah, fair enough,
Yeah.
but I don't know. Like, would it have been better if it was 4 or if it was 2? Like,
Just
I
don't put it.
really.
Just go with multiple numbers for me. Something like that. Like the three. Like I would like to know why three. It's a dumb thing, but I would just like to know why three was chosen. But I
For
digress.
James Gunn, Jennifer Holland. Is
Yeah,
that her
and then
name?
the third day
Jennifer
of the third
Yeah.
month. Yeah, Jennifer Holland. Yeah.
And Sean Gunn too, the three amigos.
Right, we did get Sean Gunn here. He's the guy
Yeah.
that dropped the liberal conservative line. Which again, I was very surprised. I was like, "Hey, kudos to you guys for throwing that out there. You definitely are gonna turn some group of people off." But
Yeah, but yeah, no, I thought it was just an interesting way to set up this universe because there is so many things that are thrown at you, and like what you already talked about with maybe wanting to know how Lois and him met. Like I feel like there's a lot of questions I have from this movie, and they made the decision to like, well, we're not going to cover all of that. Like we're just going to be jumping in, and this is the universe that we have. Like how did the Justice Gang get together, and like why do they funded by this other corporation? Like we don't explain any of that. But I just think as a first movie, like, I don't know, I was so into the adventure, I didn't really need those questions. Maybe on more watches and just thinking about how they're going to be setting up the universe going forward, I'll be thinking about that a little bit more and maybe hoping to get questions answered in the next projects. But for a first movie, like, kind of I don't know, I feel like it's a little bold to just have a lot of unanswered questions right away, but it's also just sets up curiosity and maybe investment in this universe. I want to keep watching it to get those answers.
yeah, the only thing I was fine with everything. Like we'll get into the specific characters later, but I was fine with everything with the Justice Gang. Obviously stupid name, but for some reason I found it odd at the end of the movie that they came around and helped Superman because I kind of thought, oh, this is what they're setting up, where this is the B squad, this is the shitty squad, and that's why you would need said Justice League, right? You would need, because when Lois, like, he's your friend, which again, same thing. It felt like when the kaiju's popping off, they come to help. Just felt like they're other heroes in the world. But then later on in the movie, they constantly refer to each other as, oh, they're your friend, he's your friend. And it's like,
It seems
that's not earned at all. That's stuff where I talk about, like, I don't know these people, and you're throwing these things that I don't get. But that's where I thought when Lois said, oh, you're just going to let your friend, waste away and die. And I always find Mr. Terrific being the one to break off, be like, fuck these people, I'm going to do this. But that's what I thought the setup was, oh, so in the future when he meets a Diana and a Bruce, those are people that won't do that. Those are the people that if you were to say, hey, Clark's in a pocket dimension, Bruce is going to be like, I'm firing up the fucking Batmobile and we're going right now. And that was weird at the end of the movie. The Justice Gang became that. They helped, they went to fight the war, they helped Superman. So that's something that's where I'm scratching my head about if like the big picture is eventually get there. I was like, I don't know if I needed these heroes to be this. I thought I was fine them being kind of douchey and all that stuff. And I thought, yeah, Eddie completely surprised me as Mr. Terrific because I didn't think it's not a character I'm well read on, but man, that dry humor, and it was perfect. Like, it's just one of those Gunn-isms. It's like the way Drax or Polka Dot Man, it's something where it's a new type of humorous character that Gunn hasn't done really, but he's just nailing it. Like everything with Terrific was fantastic. Again, me and Kirkland doing Weekly Geek this week, we'll cover it. There's a whole Wall Street Journal report of rumors and stuff. And there's talks like a Mr. Terrific show. I don't even know if I need that. It's kind of like, I mean, Taylor talked about Ironheart in the car. It's like some characters just work good as like, just have him as a supporting side character. Let's just do that for a while. And he was great there. Hawkgirl, love Isabel, but they didn't really give her much to do here. She's just kind of around. That's all right. I was very surprised. We'll get into Green Lantern in a second. Very surprised at the start of this movie. The conflict is, hey, which I get it, right? There's two countries at war. Superman lives in America. If he goes over there, everyone's going to think that America's butting into the war. And really, it's just Superman wanting to save lives. But that comes with a whole bunch of political stuff. I get that. We talk about similar to Man of Steel. What I found very interesting, and I hope that it's not brushed off, and this will be a con for me in the future. Like, it would take down points where the Justice Gang, to me, is like, okay, they're going to go and save these people. That makes sense. But then they literally overthrow the government. She kills the the leader of that country. To me, that's fuck Superman. Hawkgirl should be now for the
But
government?
they address that, right? You got the one
Yes.
I don't know who it is, but with Rick Flag Sr., he's like, well, look, I hope you're happy because now the metahumans, they're making their own rules. They're calling the
Exactly.
shots.
I'm just hoping though, Taylor, that is a storyline that continues to be something that comes up, and it's not just like a throwaway line thing. Luckily, Rick Flag is in Peacemaker, which we'll get into, but like there's no metahumans there, so I just hope that is a thing. It's not just a throwaway line to like dovetail, like, oh, Lex has a point. Some metahumans kind of suck, because to me that is a massive no. Like, and I don't get me wrong, I loved it. I was laughing when she's like, I ain't like Superman, and she just fucking tossed him. I was like, holy
That scene
shit.
transition, that
The
got
plop.
me. That got me.
Yeah, and that was the best thing they gave her. But to me, that's a bold thing. If like someone flying to
Yeah.
another country and killing their leader, that hopefully whatever project happens next, with those characters, that should be like a Peacemaker, that should be talked about. So we'll see going forward.
I feel like it's not going to be like heavily weighed though, because like it's very globally. The president of this place was in cahoots with Lex Luthor. Very shady operation, like kind of seen as like the evil, like the bad guys in that global setup. So it's not
Still,
like
though, it's a different country, and
And
it's
how do
still,
they
someone
know
say-
she's the one who kills him, right? I mean, they might.
they
No one's
started a
alive.
war,
There's gotta be
right? Could have
footage
just
out
been
there.
a victim of the war. So
I guess I'm saying which I don't want that. To me, that's a cop out. If they're like, oh, no one knows how he dies, it's like, well, then what? Like, no, like they've chosen to make this political, and to me, it's like then you just make the case of why wouldn't you arrest that man then? Why we in America or I
who's
guess
going to
America,
arrest him? Justice
Hawkgirl?
Gang?
No, Hawkgirl could have,
She
right? Did she have to kill him?
She dropped him by accident.
No, but
Taking him back to the prison.
This is where I'm hoping the crux is, where they go, hey, in America, Lex Luthor, we throw him in the fucking back of the van, and there was a trial, and we figured that out. You just executed this man.
Well, it's because that guy was all on American soil.
Which guy?
Different.
Who, Lex Luthor?
Lex
I
Luthor.
guess, but that comes to the whole problem with Superman, right? He wasn't on there, but everyone fucking hated him. Everyone was pissed off at him for flying over there and butting his head and
He was
stuff.
in
I'm just
Hawkgirl's
saying.
jurisdiction because he was in the air. She's the
She killed him
executioner
with
of
the
the air.
ground.
Yeah.
So again, it's not massive cons. I just like when you start to go the political route, I like that.
see what
I
you're
like
saying.
those themes. I just hope they carry through, and that is a theme, kind of like how, not to make the comparison, but how all those things the Avengers did eventually got us to Civil War, right? I'm not saying I need Civil War, but I do want something to get us to a point of like, yeah, Hawkgirl, remember when you dropped that guy? That actually was a bad move because now this shit's happened. Even if it's her getting locked up, I'd love it in Peacemaker if that's what happens. And because she's in Peacemaker, imagine if that's what happens. Like, nah, sorry, Hawkgirl, you're going to fucking prison for a little bit because you did this. And maybe other people get her out. I don't know. But, and then we got Green Lantern here, who we knew was going to be ridiculous. He's just a obnoxious dick. I'd say same thing. I wasn't loving it at first, but then it grew on me at the end. So I'm going to have to wait and rewatch this. I say I'm like a 60-40 for the stuff that worked. Fillion delivers. He's always great. It was just like certain times where this character was around, like, do I need this in the moment? But I'm lukewarm on him for now, but was starting to warm up to Guy Gardner's Green Lantern, but I also cannot wait for Batman to kick the shit out of him one day, which does happen in the comics. He just punches him in front of the whole Justice League and just flat out embarrasses him. So I hope that is coming. But how do you guys feel about, saw a little bit Justice League or Green Lantern action pop off. We saw him do oven mitts on the kaiju. Terrible attack of putting like an eye guard on the kaiju and then just a spearing in the eye over and over. So got to see some Green Lantern weapons. Yeah, go for the eyes.
Yeah, I love that sequence. I love that whole fight. That was great, and just like the crowd's reaction too, just like, oh, this is disgusting. As everyone's just filming the action, I feel like 80% of the humor worked for me with this character. Like it started slow. I was like, oh god, he's gonna be a lot, but just his one-liners, and I think it's like definitely what's the actor's name again?
Nathan Fillion.
Nathan Fillion. I feel like he just popped off and brought his A game, and just he just had that douche energy when he's just always chewing gum, and when he like when he comes like the conflict, it's like a war is going on. You have children in like barefoot with flags, like about to
be
get executed, just trampled by tanks, and he just comes in. He's like, "Don't worry, kid. A game's here." It's like, I know you're waiting for Superman, but we got
the upgrade.
Yeah, this is the upgrade. Like
he spits
his
the gun
line
and he
just
goes to
worked
work.
with his
Yes.
fucking middle fingers, his green middle fingers coming up with his powers. He was excellent. I feel like Mr. Terrific was my standout for sure. And then him for the Justice Gang, and yeah, unfortunately, Hawkgirl just wasn't in it much. Like I was expecting more of her, and yeah, just threw me off with her power also. But
and like I'm sure I get it, but like at the end when she was fighting and they had her screaming, I was like, this doesn't work. This, like she's like. I get it.
I didn't really notice at first, like in the first battle. I was like, okay, it's just a weird angle, and like it's just like really emphasizing her like it's like the score going with her character. It's like her theme or something. But no, they every time like her face would change shape, and she's like doing these hawk screams. It was very distracting.
Yeah, but at least Nathan Fillion, he will be in the Green Lantern show, so that's gonna be fun to see how he interacts with Hal and John, and that's supposed to be a serious, more dramatic show. So it's gonna be very interesting.
The other line that I thought he just like nailed was when he's like talking about, I can't remember exactly what he's talking about. Mr. Terrific called him out. He's like, "Oh, is that in your code?" And then Lois is like shit talking his haircut.
Oh, his vows.
Yeah, his vows. And then,
we don't get into political squabbles. He's like, "Oh, that's their vows." Like, well, it's kind of assumed vow. Like, it's an assumed vow or whatever.
Yeah. She's like, that haircut should be in your vows, or a better haircut, or something along those lines.
What should be my what?
Yeah, he like
that
doesn't
voice
hear her, but the way he just stands up, he's like, "What? What should be about it?" Like, yeah, he delivered that line so well. It was fantastic.
Yeah. Taylor, Justice Gang, how you feel about them?
Yeah, they cracked me up a lot more than I was anticipating. Again, I was going into this movie feeling semi-overwhelmed, but of course
you're worried about them. You always bring them up. You're like, I don't fucking know these people.
I was
even
worried,
though we still don't really
worried.
know these people, other than Mr. Terrific. We don't really know them still.
Don't really know them, but yeah, Gunn did just a great job, and he did it with Guardians too, where you even with the Suicide Squad, the movie comes on and he just throws you into the mix of things, and you kind of just hop on the train as it's already going. You're not just boarding at the station, then booting up and whatnot, and it works. He does it in a very good manner. So getting these characters and their humor and all that was making me laugh. Like when several different scenes, like when Superman is fighting the kaiju, he's protecting people, keeping everyone safe, and they come in and people will be getting killed. They're so sloppy and like fucking terrible. And then even after, when he's sitting in the apartment with Lois, and you just see the interdimensional like whatever jellyfish in the background fighting, and it looks like they're having a fucking nightmare of a time because they just keep trying. Yeah, that scene. That was so
distracting. That was all I could think about that entire scene.
It's so. Oh, you finished it.
I was just gonna say they had a hard time, but the three of them, I like them a lot. Terrific definitely stood out, and I'm glad they didn't go with the one that everyone's familiar with, the Green Lantern, and made him the main. But I'm
No,
happy
you
they
couldn't
just
put Hal in this role. If Hal would have been saying these lines and doing this shit, people would have been turned over in their grave. Right?
no
We already
no
had the fucking Ryan Reynolds one. We can't do this again. Don't
no.
forget Metamorpho. He's part of the Justice Gang now. You know.
He is, yeah, and yeah,
I
I
love
like
that
that
name.
character. He's fun. I'm excited to see what he can do. And some of it, just the way he was moving around, I got like Voldemort vibes for some reason. With just a head
Like,
floating
yeah,
in the
floating, yeah.
in the particle
The smoke.
zone or whatnot.
Kirkland and Tyler, Kirkland's friend, Patreon Tyler, were popping off at the moment when they're like, "What, you gonna splash on us?" And he's like, "Yeah," and he turned to acid and just shot him.
Oh, yeah,
I
you
wasn't
were giggling.
expecting that. He just like exploded, and then just the floating head there. He looked
Yeah.
like just a demon, and like visually looked really good CGI wise when he's floating around and just
A lot of-
changing elements and stuff. I thought it looked really good.
A lot of that stuff, like obviously not everything looked perfect, but in that like pocket dimension, that could have looked real shit the whole time.
Like
even when they're in,
Quantumania level.
yes, 100%, yes. That's what I thought about. Even when they're in like that river of like, I don't know what this fucking river is. It's a bunch of like multiverse mumbo jumbo stuff, but it's like this is cool and looks good. And yeah, Metamorpho is good. Like I love Anthony Kerrigan from Barry. He is just such a standout actor. So I really hope we see him again. I really liked how they used Metamorpho here, and it was a tragic character. Yeah, he was going through a lot. Poor guy, his son's just kidnapped in front of him. He's just having people killed and all this stuff. But you know, he helped save the day, and he did at
Married
the end.
to Palm Clementif, very randomly,
That wasn't
Yeah.
Palm.
wasn't it?
No, that wasn't Palm.
It
The
looked
blonde
like
girl
her.
at the end. It did a little
Pull
bit,
up
but
the
I
cast.
don't think that was her.
She was in
yeah.
this movie.
She was the robot. Yeah, that would
One
have
of
got me
the
2
robots,
points.
yeah.
That would have got me. That would have got me 4 actually, because she would have been two
It looked like
separate
Palm.
characters. Oh man, that would have been great.
It was the character I was not expecting to see. Maybe another rock person or a green person, not just some white chick.
Yeah. We'll circle back to. We got a lot of circle backs, but to this one we veered off, of course. Ultraman. Many characters. He was the Hammer of Brevia or whatever. He was Ultraman, and then he was also, you know, dun dun dun, a clone of Superman. Who, when he had the long hair and he was looking mad, did anyone else think this fucker looked like Anakin Skywalker from Revenge of the Sith? Because he had that dirty hair that Anakin has. It's all over. Like, I'm telling you, man, there was Anakin isms. But yeah, again, just remind me of the Flash, where it's like, what's the big twist? Well, that's, you know, the other Barry. They're gonna be bad, and same thing like Ultraman, which there is lots of speculation. Like Ultraman, this is one of these things where Scooper said, "Hey, that's Ultraman." In the comics, that's a clone Superman, and Gun's like, "That's not Ultraman. Like, we're not doing that." And then when the movie gets here, it's just like, "Yeah, Gun, it's okay. It's okay. The Scooper's gonna get you. Just don't say anything sometimes, you know. Don't super shit. You know, like just put down the phone sometimes." I'm not calling him super shit. I'm just saying it's that situation. You know what though? I thought this actually worked out better than I thought. Anytime you do the clone of a character, the exact opposite, but it's the evil version, or sort of the exact similar power set, but it's the evil version, can kind of be kind of meh. I think this worked out here. I think there is kind of an allegory for, I think many times the stuff with the monkeys, even this you can read into. There's been so much evil Superman between BVS and Homelander and Omni-Man. This was kind of like, well, look, you know, like good Superman beats the evil Superman. So, but I actually thought it worked out. Their fight scenes worked well. There's no jarring, weird like Flash stuff where one looked really CG and one looked real. So I ended up enjoying the Ultraman stuff, and I think it still worked that he was still just another big guy, but he was just a vessel for Lex. That's why I liked where Lex, when he was doing the like, you know, 1A, like it felt like it was just Lex, like he was in the body fighting, but it's not Lex there. So that's why to me that worked, is it was just a conduit for Lex to be able to fight Superman, because obviously he couldn't. So yeah, Ultraman and the reveal actually worked for me. Wasn't anything earth shattering. I kind of agree with everybody. That's where we were going. And when they hide him that long, I was like, who else could it be, right? Like the only thought is like they're gonna do something crazy and it's fucking Kara and she's brainwashed, but I never really thought that. So Ultraman, what'd you guys think?
I had no idea who to expect. I thought it was just going to be like a robot or something, which is, I don't know. They already had the engineer that was all nanited up. Like, there's definitely another someone that would be capable of taking on Superman. I feel like in this universe that they set up, and Yeah, no, I thought he was all right. I was really not a fan of like the 1A, 32B, 69F, whatever the hell he was calling out. It just, to me, it's just like fucking latency issues. Like, he's gonna say something and then it's gonna be too late. Superman
He's a
reacts. Like,
trillionaire, man.
it's true, and it seemed like he was seeing the moves literally before it happened. Like he would tell them, and then it would be like the moment happened, and then set up. So I guess he's just got all this technology to make it work. But yeah, it was just a little bit eye rolly to me, and like especially at the end when we keep like shooting over to his guys on like the fight stick as if they're on the arcade, and like they're just like grinning ear to ear, like yeah, we got him. Like it just
Taylor
seems
on a
so
call at
stupid to
night.
me. So yeah, that was a moment I really wasn't vibing with, along with just like the whole reveal with his actual parents, Jor-El, and just that.
Oh, we'll
whole
get
thing.
there. We'll
Yeah.
get there. I was gonna say
Those
though,
were like
did
the
that,
two main things that were bringing me down in this movie.
did that remind you? It's a movie that you, me, and Kyle retroed a couple years ago. Did that remind you at all of Weapon 11? Because that's the same thing they do there, right? Where it's not a clone, but Stryker, he has that computer and it's like decapitate, kill. Like he's
Yeah.
giving all those commands. It had that type of vibe going on. So
And like this movie, because of all the action scenes and just the brutal nature of it, it made me want to just jump in and play Mortal Kombat, Injustice, whatever equivalent. Like
Yeah.
it had the fighting energy to it, the fighting game energy to it. So to like throw in like, especially when they're talking about Ultraman, like I installed 2,500 fighting moves on him. I was just like fuck off, this is so stupid. But then like 20 minutes later I'm just like applauding the amazing dialogue or whatever the writing is. It's
yeah,
so
or great fight scenes. Like we talk about the non-spoilers, but
Yeah, the
that
fight
scene when
scene.
they fight in the stadium and Superman,
Oh, I loved
he,
it.
He tackles Engineer down. And he's like, "Hey, it's not too late for you. Like you could turn around." And then she hits him. So I think Superman kind of takes it as like, "Okay, she's not gonna turn good here. I gotta get back to fighting." Picks her up by the leg, and it's just like doing flips. He's doing flips while holding her, and he's using her as a weapon to beat off or to be,
Heyo.
Beat off.
beat at Ultraman. And even then, there was like multiple fight scenes they did with each other, him and Ultraman, that you can only do with another like super high powered
Yeah.
character. And that's when they didn't say non-spoilers. I will say I give them credit for a lot of action set pieces, a lot of things. I think a lot of the marketing withheld a lot of moments of this movie, like that whole thing of Superman getting covered by the engineer stuff in space. I love when you can go see a movie and something's happening in the major third act and you haven't seen it before, which happens so much I feel like with trailers nowadays. So I kudos to DC Studios marketing team for being held back on some of that stuff. But yeah, Taylor, what do you think about Ultraman, aka Evil Superman?
I saw a rumor, and so when that mask came off, and I saw like the eye underneath the like the hair and whatnot, I was like, "Holy fuck, that's Henry Cavill!" It just, and I
A lot of
totally,
people thought that was going to happen. I never thought that, but I would have. That would have been a moment. That would have at least jumped that up a 0.5 for me if they pulled off Cavill. But I think they're saving Cavill for 10 years when he can do his No Way Home moment. So
yeah, yeah. So that's what I thought, but yeah, sure enough, the clone thing works. I mean, we've seen that before. What, Superman 3, that Reeves film?
yeah, Evil Superman. Yeah.
So yeah, it fits. It fits, and I'm kind of. It's not like a storyline that I've always been super engaged with and loved, but it explains a lot of things with the character being so powerful and how it could fight Superman. So I'm glad that it's been over, it's done with. Now we don't have to kind of go back and redo that clone storyline
I hope.
again.
Yes, this should be it for that. That should be done with. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, to transition, because Espa was bringing this up and Kirkland brought this up. Espa was saying he saw someone point out that Brightburn, one of the plot point was that he was sent to Earth to destroy it. So Gunn reused a twist from his own movie that no one saw. I didn't even think about it because I haven't seen Brightburn in a long time. What I jumped
He
to,
did
which
Brightburn?
he produced it, and maybe wrote it. I don't know. Guy in the
Okay.
chair, Spubs, could you find out if Gunn wrote it?
He stopped the sequel too. I was reading about that recently, a couple months ago. He stopped it, and I think that because of him kind of diving into Superman, which is kind of funny.
I think so. Yeah, and I think there's some weird legality stuff with the sequel too. I don't know, but for me, that's not what I jumped to. So what they revealed, it was like a twofer where, again, it's like a good plot point, but it's like I've seen this before. They set up where we got our confirmation. Bradley Cooper's Jor-El, cool. I was disappointed by that because I thought Bradley Cooper was going to get one good, like the scene, obviously the way, I don't know, it's difficult, right? Because Clark's dad later on. He only gets that one good scene about, it's about the choices you make, but that's a really great scene. So I thought, okay, Bradley Cooper, he's agreeing to play Jor-El because they're going to give him one great scene. Even the message of if it's revealing he's a bad guy, I wish there could have been something more there, and maybe that will come down the line. Like, I just wanted some more, because Bradley Cooper can be a great actor. So, but what they do is, okay, so he produced and wrote Brightburn. So what they do is, Superman, he listens to his message every time he gets back to Force of Solitude. The robots put it on, and it's them just saying, they love him and they're filled with hope. But it cuts off, right? Because obviously the planet's being destroyed. Later on, the engineer and Lex uncover the full thing. They fix it, and they right away, which is always funny. There's like, even at times where Metropolis is getting a black hole in it, there's still reporters at their desk reporting on the news. And even there's one moment where there's this couple, and they're looking at the water, and the black hole's like 10 feet from them, and they're like, she's like, love, we better get out of here. It's like, why the fuck weren't you out of here earlier? It has a lot of like Spider-Man isms of like, why are there people here? I'm gonna get back to my point, but even that great shot of Superman saving that girl and the barrels come at her and he slow-mo gets her, that's like 10 minutes into the kaiju fight scene. It's like, why is this girl just strolling through the park? Like, it makes so there's tons of stuff like that where it's like, this is just happening for the sake of being cool, like we said, or being a moment. But anyways, I digress. They discover that they said, hey, we're sending you to Earth because the people are weak and they're simple-minded. You should take a bunch of wives. You should do
Weak
whatever.
like old parents. That's the line that came to mind.
Yeah, and for me, did that remind you of anything, Kirkland? Like maybe a show you stopped watching?
A show I stopped watching.
So this is where, again, I don't read the comic books, but it's in a very popular comic book. It's in adaptation right now. That's the exact twist in the season 1 of Invincible, remember? Of why the Vigilante...
Oh, yes, 100%. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking of during this, especially just like the similarities to like an Omni-Man type character. And
so
Superman.
to me, it was that, and already we talked about the Batman where you don't see much Clark. They did that in the Batman 2, where it's like, oh, it gets revealed that Bruce Wayne's mom went to Arkham and his dad was a shady guy, and all the public find out about it, and they don't turn on Bruce Wayne, but it's like, oh, something's wrong with Bruce Wayne. So that's where it's like, okay, like, it's just because it's been done so recently in big things, Invincible, the Batman, where it's like, okay, we can do this twist, but it didn't hit me like I want it to, because I just feel like this is recycling a lot of similar plot points we got earlier, and, I was fine with it, but it sounded like you weren't fine with it much after that point.
I was very not fine with it. No, it just seemed like I feel like I'm okay with it being like a dark like setup, actually, like his parents sent him there, but like they were kind of more in that I can't remember what their race is called, but like Omni-Man's people of
the Vetramites or Vetramites or something.
Oh, yeah, fuck,
Yeah.
you're so close to it. You're like 90
The
something percent there.
Vertramites? Yeah, I'll find
You're
out.
so close. That might even be it. But anyways,
Viltrumites.
Viltrumite. There you go. That would have bugged me. I'm glad you looked that up.
And they just sent him here because Earth just sucks. And it's like, well, Clark could fuck this planet up,
Yeah, so like I feel like I'm fine with that, because that's something that I'm not expecting and different than like the normal setup of they're just like super morally good and just like, they're just the saviors of sending Superman to Earth. I'm okay with that, but I just feel like instantly, especially like we're in the era of like AI videos and stuff and deep fakes, and like, okay, like they do authenticate it and say that it's a real video, but it just seemed like instantly it's like, oh, okay, Superman's evil. Like even if he saved me and my children and my father right in front of me, and like is like I've seen him be a hero, and I'm throwing tomatoes at him like instantly because this video came out. Like what is this? And like so the reception of like the video amongst the people was annoying, but
Too
also just
truncated.
like, sorry.
Too truncated, like you said. It happened just instantly. Like one of my favorite lines, they had Mr. Terrific be like, I know those tech guys, they wouldn't get it wrong. It's like, what the fuck? Like, this is like, we live in a world where a guy has a magical ring. There's no way they could have fucking got any of this wrong. Like, it felt way too just, well, we don't have time to deal with this. So again, like Saturday morning cartoon of Superman's evil. He's bad.
And for this to be like the main reason of like why we're having like issues with Superman and the public.
This is his crux. This is the point of like, this is the
fork in the road
conflict of the movie. So yeah.
Yeah, so like that was one thing, but also just like the effect that it actually had on Clark and Superman, and like, oh my God, I'm evil. Like I came here to take all the women and be the king of like Earth. Like no, you're not. Like it maybe if you're like Smallville Clark Kent, but like fuck, you've been doing this for 3 years. Like you really does it really matter that much? Like I guess you can make the argument of like he just sees his parents in such like a god like level of like everything that they
Yeah.
said and like sent me here to do. Everything that I do is because of what they sent me on, and the goal like they made me and sent me on this journey, and everything I'm doing is because of what they wanted me to do. And then he gets the realization that's that's not exactly what they meant, but it just seemed so
I think
I
that's
don't
why
know.
they
To
did the
me, it's
clips
like
at
this
the
is
end,
such a
though.
stupid like issue to have, or
Yeah,
at least reasoning for it.
yeah, I guess that's why they did the clips at the end to show that. I think he was like, okay, I guess I came to Earth to be a savior, but they really wanted me to rule over it. But then he had the realization of, oh, these people that found me, they put that hope in me. It wasn't my actual parents. Again, I think I wish you could get more into it, but I think it's kind of like an allegory for people that have gone through adoption, right? Of I'm sure for many people, there's always a poll of like, who are my real parents? But it's like that blood and biological matters nothing. It all
Yeah.
depends on the people that take care of you, right? I think there could have been more of that, and it could have been, I think you're right, where it just he's like, oh fuck, because he's upset about it, but never talks more about like what like what are you gonna do more about that later on? Like his dad
Hmm.
says, like it's about your choice, but like I feel like I need more from Clark, and he has that conversation with Lois, like, hey, I was never gonna do that. It's like, yeah, none of us ever thought that. Like, I wish there was a more way to get it into
Especially
the
the
plot.
harem, like it's just such a
Yeah,
outfield. Like
very
he
James
wants all
Gunn
of the
moment.
cocaine on Earth. Like it's like, okay, really?
Yeah, and that's
Whatever.
what's funny. We talked about like the scene where he's on the patio. It is funny that everyone memed about, oh, people give Henry Cavill shit, but look at the Superman. Some threats going on in the back. He's not doing anything. And I think even when we saw that poster, I was like, I'm sure that's not true. Like I'm sure there's some for it. And literally, he was like, oh yeah, they're handling. I'm just kind of mopey right now. So it is kind of funny that like he was so distraught he wasn't gonna go save the day because like man, these parents. So I kind of get it, but I think I agree that it wasn't done the strongest. So we're going to take our next ad break, and then Taylor's going to tell us how he thought about those twists. So we'll be right back. And we're back. So Taylor, how do you feel about his parents sending him to rule over us?
I was convinced the whole time that was just a fake and that they were going to uncover that he doctored it or something like that.
No, didn't you hear Mr. Terrific? He knows those tech guys.
He knows
There's
those
no
tech
way
guys.
it's fake.
Yeah, there's no
There's
way,
no
it's,
way
fake.
it's fake.
It
Fuck,
just,
man.
it was, yeah, it was kind of a curveball. And again, I know Bradley Cooper was in this movie, but just seeing him as Father Al just caught me off guard, and he's just talking so composed. I just saw him because I just watched the movie Burnt not
Yeah,
too long
why?
ago.
I saw that on your letterbox. I was like, why is he watching Burnt?
I have a sweet spot for those cooking movies where the chefs get really fucking pissed off, and in that movie he's swearing and he's throwing shit. He's just a fucking rage monster.
Idiot.
And then here he is like, I've seen oh whatever.
Yeah, they didn't
fucking
give him much of an
Krypton is.
entrance. It was just like anybody could have been playing Jor-El. It felt like it was. I thought like, oh, they're gonna give like a big moment reveal. It was nah. Bradley Cooper's playing Jor-El. He's here today. It's like, I guess, cool.
Oh yeah, he made a paycheck for that for sure.
Oh yeah. Points on the back end.
Yeah, but the concept of them just sending him there, like it's really funny because I feel like if you were to do a message like this, you would make. If I'm writing an email, I usually write an email like it's pretty concise and it has like, it's not like the first part is like, hey. I'm excited to see you next week. And then the next part is like, oh, by the way, my parents died. Like, I feel like, it would be blended in like, hey, I'm really looking forward to getting to see you. It's been tough because of passing my parents, but I'm excited to like you mesh it together. But the way they did the Superman message is like, oh, you are our hope, you are this, we love you, da 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 da. And then it's paused. It's like you will rule the earth, you will have many wives, you will, da 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 da. It's like, man, what a fucking curveball. They couldn't have sprinkled that at all at the beginning of the message.
And like, what do they expect for like if the whole message is played for 1 to 2 year old Clark or 3-year-old Clark to be hearing like, and you'll take all these wives, like I don't know if that's the way to
You'll
like,
spread your seed. Like I was like, what the fuck?
which is
This
that's what they
is
do in
weird.
Invincible. Like if you ever watched it, that's what they have Omni Man. He's like I don't know. I'll say character of Grey. I can't say villain, but that's what he does. He goes to multiple planets and he's just sleeping with women. And I guess that's already a gunnism, right? Because that's what he had Ego do in Guardians 2. Remember, Ego did that. He just went around sleeping with people so he could like create the ultimate offspring. So again, he's even riffing on work he's done already before. But you know, so
It's yeah. I'm not gonna make that joke.
okay.
Yeah, it's just it's a wild concept for Superman. It's crazy, but again, it leads to a very, very good and humbling conversation with Pa Kent, and he's just talking about how your choices, and that's something it's a reoccurring theme in movies lately. I feel like things, even older movies I've been rewatching, it's like our choices, that defines you as a person, and all that jazz. So I feel like that's Hollywood's
All that
MO right
jazz.
now.
You got to work on that speech before you give it to Satine. You got to be a good person and all that jazz, and take many husbands. You know,
Spread your seed.
yeah. Simple-minded they are here on Earth, and yeah, we always said
Oh,
Taylor was
yeah,
an alien.
On
so-
Terra.
Fuck.
yeah, it's Taylor's Terra pitch there. So, oh boy. Okay, where else should we go? I thought there was another Twister moment we talked about, and we're gonna come back to, but
Twisters
Yeah,
with David Cornsweet.
not that one. Happy to see his dad didn't get taken from a Twister in this movie. That was good. And there you go. Prediction wrong for me. I thought the mom was gonna bite it. No, but parents are alive.
Was she in like the trailers? Because I don't remember seeing her at all. I was kind of
I'll grab your
surprised she
boots
was
for
in
you,
there.
Clark. Yeah, they had that line in the trailer.
Oh, he's
so-
a big mush. She just loved throwing that on Pa.
Yeah, you fucking
My
pussy. That's
buddy
really what
that-
she's saying.
That's why I
That
liked
I
her
s-
brother.
My buddy that was there with us, that was one of his complaints. It was just they were too too. I don't want to say like
White
from
trash.
the hills type. They were too like bumbling, I guess, and, for
That kinda-
his liking.
I guess, but like Clark's bumbling in this movie, right? So to me, I got
He's
that explained that.
sophisticated, city slick bumbling though.
Sometimes, and sometimes I feel like he comes off as like Brendan Fraser goofy, in
He
a good way.
reminds me of Brendan Fraser, like
Very
his
much
face and
so.
everything. Like,
Yes.
yeah, I was having
Mummy
moments.
casting.
Yeah, let's do it.
There's
New George of the Jungle.
Is there a photo? I know
or,
at one point
what's the other one?
George
Bedazzled.
Bedazzled.
Bedazzled with him.
Bedazzled.
Wow.
Yeah, we'll talk about.
You can get the actress Lois Lane in to play in Bedazzled opposite of him.
Absolutely separate. George the Jungle, Brendan Fraser's a fucking smoke show, and Elizabeth Hurley and Bedazzled's the Devil's a fucking smoke show. Like those two together, great couple. But I could be wrong. I should try and find it. I don't know if there is a photo. I don't if there's a photo of Brendan Fraser with the Superman costume on, but I think when JJ was making his like early 2000s, it didn't end up happening flyby. But I think he was. I think he was talked about for being Superman, and yeah, I always thought that would have been a great pick. So Cornsweet's kind of like the spiritual successor to that. So, but
Here, can you tell me if these are authentic, Travis?
those are not authentic.
Okay.
Get
So
out of here.
massive.
Brendan Fraser's never been that massive in his life before. What are you talking about? I think the glasses one, that's just him in like a Hollywood premiere, but like he's never like he's looking like a fucking. Why you have the Snyder cut?
This
Reddit?
is what it. This is what the first thing at the top, and it said Brendan Fraser looks so good as Superman. It's like, oh, was he already in the suit? And
Nah, I might be wrong, but lots of people have tried the suit on. But yeah,
that bulge though that he's packing too.
Oh,
Holy
look at that
shit!
But,
Looks
yeah.
like fucking Jimmy Olsen right there.
Right. Let's talk about Jimmy Olsen before we.
Must be massive down there with the amount of ladies that were all over him in this film.
Yeah,
my
didn't
prediction.
need any of this. It's funny, and I much more accept than other people. Taylor, you're just on that Snyder Cut Reddit, man. I wonder how like the hardcore feel that like are still talking about restore the Snyderverse and sell Netflix, all that stuff. And in this movie, there's just like a whole Jimmy Olsen's a ladies' man, or he'll cuck your girlfriend, like all this type of stuff. I I didn't like any of this. I liked that actor enough as Jimmy, but I did not like any of it. I also thought it was not like a good look for him where he he meets Miss Tessmacher and she's like, yeah, his last girlfriend Lex locked up and I don't know what's gonna happen to me. But then the continual time he like treats Tessmacher like shit and she's like, hey, I'm gonna say this information. My life could be on the line, but could I see this weekend? And he's like, and that's where Gunn played that all for laughs. And like it was fun 'cause it's not a big deal, but I'm like, why should I care about Jimmy? Like I get it's an annoying girl, but it's also the character has said my life is at risk here, and Jimmy's like, sorry, bitch, I don't really care about you. It felt like very misogynistic. Like I'm not trying to be all drastic, but I just like, it made me feel yucky about the Jimmy character. The girl stuff, lady stuff, just didn't find funny. Just felt like I don't know, like that's just sometimes there's some gun humor that doesn't work. But like, yeah, obviously I know Miss Tessmacher, and you know what? I take it back. I was gonna say, oh, because she's always taking selfies and whatnot, but then they reveal she's taking selfies of important information. So they show like, oh, she had some heart. She was doing it for some reason, even though she's a dumb character that they portray her as. But yeah, other than the end when Jimmy finally smiles when she's like, we can be together forever. So like he's finally maybe liking her, but I just didn't like that they kind of used her life as like a punchline. I know it's a nothing character, but I didn't
You
like
didn't
it.
like
you
her
know?
toes.
Especially because the whole movie to me was like trying about Superman and the invoking of hopefulness, right? So I just felt like would Superman like that if he knew his friend Jimmy was like dangling Tessmacher's life? Like didn't like any of that stuff.
It didn't seem like it served the biggest purpose either. Like we get the information through Miss Tessmacher, but like that could have been done so many different ways.
That's how
also.
Lex gets taken down. Is because some
Yeah.
girl has the hots for Jimmy Olsen. Not a fan.
Yeah, and like just like even at the office with those girls like giving them googly eyes. Like at first I thought it was funny, but I didn't realize we're like this is the character. Like he is just packing a fucking 7 foot long
Alpha cock.
Bruno. Yeah. Yeah.
Samson size.
Yeah. The
Jimmy
size.
Samson Olsen. Yeah.
So like I feel like most of the humor didn't work. I like the actor enough. I can't remember what I've seen him in, but like I just saw him as the nerdy character. I'll have to pull up his IMDb specifically and see what it was that he played because he like his facial reactions was making the humor work to like the smallest extent for me. So yeah, it seemed interesting, and honestly, I really grew to like the Jimmy character while we went through like the Superman retro. It's just like a fun reoccurring character, and yeah, I was definitely disappointed that like that was the limit to the character because okay, like he's like a lady killer, but we don't even go that far with that. It's just like this is the really simple way on how we get like information on Lex and all that stuff. So yeah.
This feels like a subplot of like if they did a Daily Planet show and it's like, well, we need something for Jimmy, but it's like in the Superman movie and it's only 2 hours. I don't need this. I know we'll talk about it on Tuesday. There's like reports of like, oh, James Gunn's gonna sing a Jimmy Olsen show. It's like, oh god, like invest your money elsewhere. And I like the guy who was playing him. Don't get me wrong.
Slaying every week.
It's just like shame.
Yeah.
It's like shame it with Jimmy Olsen. He's just a full on Lois. It's like, oh, so we got your hard drive back there, Jimmy. He just gives like the Fassbender just it's dirty, fucking filthy, anal, double anal. I don't even know what that means, you know. So, Taylor, any thoughts on? You loved this storyline, didn't you?
I was laughing. I was.
I knew it.
It was just such
Taylor.
a turn, like a flip over from what we're used to before with Jimmy. So I was getting a kick out. I was getting a kick out of just how he was just turning down these women and stuff like that, and like he's just the stuff where he texts Eve Tessmacher,
Demon toes.
monster toes or something like that.
It was
Yeah,
shrimp. Remember, they're like, "Oh, you
was
look like you
shrimp.
spilled shrimp
It is
cock down the
contact,
floor." Like,
yeah.
that was so. Even then, it's just like they're like
like
making
horse
ugly
face.
jokes about like they're making ugly jokes about this girl who's like very good. Like it felt like someone had a Shrek or something. I didn't get what we were doing here, you know. But
yeah. He just
great outfit she had though. She was on fleek with outfits.
purple?
That purple snow gear, absolutely.
That shot when they land, and like all you see is just her smile, like in the suit. I was laughing at
Yeah.
that. It was a funny image.
I found a comment here because I went back to the Snyder Cut Reddit thing. Because
Oh god, Taylor's gonna go around.
Taylor's doing the monkey
well,
bots right now.
He's gonna message us at 4 a.m. tonight, and, like, and definitely
it's
that's a
pretty
shot at the
nasty.
Snyder Cut people. You know,
it's
this movie must be like a fucking nuclear bomb to them. I could not even imagine some of the stuff in this movie with how they like their things. Like, can't even process. But what are you finding right now in this Reddit?
well, it's like multiple paragraphs, and it's aside from one political paragraph part, everything else is like
no.
one comment. Oh yeah. All right, I'm not even gonna say anything on
That
it.
we should do. We gotta do. We should do.
Save
like
that for later, off cast.
Yeah, we should do like a bread and butter Patreon exclusive. Us just going down the Snyder Cult Reddit and just see
Oh,
what's
I'd be
in
down.
there. You know? Yeah.
So people are calling him out like, what the fuck is this? You clearly didn't watch the movie. That's someone says. But
To
anyways,
what?
to this guy's comment where he just said, "I saw Superman 2025. It was a disaster."
Oh.
But anyway, so
What a rebuttal too. Not that I disagree. The guy like, oh, you clearly didn't watch the movie. It's like like you can't. That's not how that works. But
well, he says this film humiliates Superman and his fans. But then the thing I want to highlight about Jimmy Olsen here, he says. He says Batman in caps is not in the movie, other than in a few pictures where Jimmy Olsen tries to figure out if Superman is also Batman, with the only comparison being that they both wear underwear on the outside. Yeah, they're going to make Batman wear some stupid underwear on the outside in this universe. No, thank you. Leave that shit in
Called
the
trunks.
30s where it belongs.
They're called trunks.
They didn't highlight Batman at all in here, did they?
No.
With Jimmy Olsen.
Unless
So
there was
I don't
like a
know what the
board
fuck
that
this
your
person.
comment? Really?
Yeah.
Clearly didn't watch the movie.
Yeah.
As
I don't know
GeekVerse
where this guy's
podcast.
coming from.
Yeah, great. They come to us. All right, let's. Oh no, we took a ad break not too recently, or just recently. Okay. Yeah, Olsen. We'll see what happens there. Same thing, Daily Plant. Those were some of the characters I was talking about at the end when the ship lands and they're all like celebrating. They see Superman. It's like Cat Grant and Beck Bennett, all these people. It's like
Oh my god, that shot was so funny where you have like that character that what's her name? Cat Grant?
Cat Grant. Yeah.
In like the super cleavage
slow-mo?
outfit. And it's just like a slow-mo of her like
whoa.
bouncing up and down. I'm like, what are we doing here? This is so
on
weird.
that ship, just make it Jimmy and Lois. That's it. We don't need any of these other people. I'm glad they got paid. I'm glad they got a gig and get to be in.
The other guy made me laugh though. He's like, "Where's my chair?"
Yeah, that was so
A
funny.
good enough line, but like the rest of the movie, and I like Beck Bennett, but he was going really over the top. That to me was pure direction because I guarantee you, Guns like, oh, play it like this. I just even Perry there, like that's the stuff that's so curious, right? You look at Man of Steel and you look at BVS, like Lawrence Fishburne, like that's a full, like not full, but like that's a important character at times and many things. Where this is just multiple times you just see him stand there with a cigar and his like, call me this, like it's just he's such a caricature, and that's where it's again that feels very animated series of what's Perry White? Well, he's a cigar chomping, gives no shits about anything. It's like, yep, that's your direction the whole time, you know? Like he had fucking more character in Thunderbolts just last month, and he was in 2 scenes there, you know? So it's like get all these people out of here. Don't need any of them. But even though we talked about in the opening, wish there was more. Rachel Brosnan fucking killed it. I think if you can give her more, she could rival Margot Kidder. And I think she already might be, but she could be Lois Lane #1. For me, it's just I want more content with her. But she was fantastic. That interview scene, other than like some issues I had with it, I thought she was great in that. I think she did a good job of she's hitting it with the pressure points, but little stuff of when she's like, oh, where'd you come from? He's like, I know I can't talk about that. And she does that double take of, oh, right, like she knows this guy has parents, and she's like trying not to be that like shark of a reporter because she still likes this guy. Like, I think she was so good at the layeredness. Also, they had the chemistry. Even that kiss at the end, that felt like a big, genuine kiss. Like it was like a cheering, like yes, like great moment. So yeah, she was phenomenal. Again, wanted way more of her. I hope in Superman 2 we lose some stuff like the Daily Plan or whatever and just get more of her and Clark together, or the movie's just longer. So no, I thought she delivered. She was like don't want to say perfect Lois Lane, but really no notes, just other than I want some more. So that's why I can't know if I can put her at #1, but yeah, I've loved her in this movie. So
Yeah,
Well said.
no, I don't have anything else.
I'm
to add.
alone.
Thought
They
she was
didn't like her.
fantastic.
That's okay. Yeah.
No, she's great. I wanted more of her in there. I'm glad she at least got paired up with Mr. Terrific, to get her bouncing off of another character. And yeah, I think you nailed it. I just want more of her. I thought she was great. And I didn't really speak to it like you guys were, but yeah, on-screen chemistry amongst those two was something special. So I hope we see more of those two together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe not like some crazy controversy in the real life news, but yeah.
Heart wants what the heart wants, you know. If that's the route it goes, it's the route it goes, you know.
Travis
all it takes is a
pro adultery.
I'm not pro adultery.
one director just puts two people together and kind of really
You should see
pushes
these
them in the
comments.
marketing.
You should see these chats. Taylor's like literally blaming James Gunn. Like, well, if they cheat, it's James Gunn's fault. He's putting together. It's like, no. That's not James Gunn's fault.
Those are private chats.
That's not his fault at all. No, it's like who knows what their life situation is. But yeah, they got a lot of chemistry together. So
Oh yeah, they do.
yeah. Crypto thought he was great. Thought they used him the right amount. Obviously, that was always, I would say, a big concern for me because I think James Gunn's good at that. But that was obviously always a contentious point because Crypto's a lot of marketing is like how much he's going to be in there. Is he going to be overdone? But I thought it was just the right amount of some drama, some humor, some lighthearted stuff. So no, I thought they used Crypto very well.
So Crypto came from Krypton. That's how that works.
Yes.
Okay,
It's weird.
confirming because it just blows my mind that an alien planet can have the same domesticated animals.
I agree.
Yeah,
Don't focus on it too much.
I digress.
Exactly. You can't think
I'm
of
gonna have to
it.
dock it at least 5 points.
Yeah. At
The
least
realism.
5.
Me, I'm doing that too.
I really liked Crypto here. I feel like initially I was like, oh right, yeah, we just have a CGI dog here for the whole adventure. So like initially I was like, oof, how's this gonna go? But honestly, I feel like beyond that point, like the movements looked really realistic, and it was just winning over the crowd. Just having a cute dog, it's pretty easy to do that. But just the dog isms, I like how I mean, yeah, my dog was popping off earlier, and when I get home, he's super excited to see me. But Marco Diaz, he's like 32 pounds. Crypto coming out with like the fucking force of Superman, just taking out people. Like I couldn't imagine trying to wrangle that, and just the humor around him really worked for me. I am glad that it wasn't just like Superman and Crypto, like that was their adventure throughout the whole film. I'm glad we got a little bit of a break with it. I knew we were gonna get more Crypto, but like just the way that the engineer like fucking infected Crypto with her nanites thing, I'm like, Jesus Christ. And there's just no follow-up. Like we don't see Crypto again, so like people could have just assumed they just killed Superman's dog right then and there. But no, I thought he was great and super cute. I like the moment when was it Lois when she's driving the plane and then he jumps up on her lap.
You'll figure it out.
Marco would do the exact same thing when you're he would just sit on your lap and that's his spot. And then when Clark wakes up in the bed and then it's just like he's staring right at him, ready to go, with a little tail wagging. It was just saw a lot of similarities to my own little fluffy pup. So yeah, it worked.
And you couldn't move that dog either because it's krypton.
Yeah,
kryptonite dog, right? So it's just
like Marco is pretty manageable. If he's getting crazy, he's 32 pounds. Like I can take him, but Crypto, oof.
Mm-hmm.
That's a
Espub says, do you think they should have kept the supposed deleted scene of all Ultraman punching Crypto that led the gas from the test audience? Yeah, I do, because I don't think.
Yeah.
I think it's a bad guy. You like, even if you're like, oh, I don't like that. It's like that's the point. That'll just help later on when Superman's kicking this guy's ass, send him to a black hole, which I would imagine in a comic world. That doesn't mean he's dead, right? I feel like we could see Ultraman again at the end when the black hole's going and he hits Ultraman with a bus and that bus sucks
he's not
him in.
dead.
Yeah, it's like we're seeing that fucker again at some point,
I like the scene though. I like the set where he like fucking pops his shoulder out. And you just see it like protrude in the suit and then swings him around. That was just a satisfying shot.
Well, multiple times, and I'm completely fine with it because I think it changes some of the canon with Superman, but James Gunn had already stated he was gonna like kind of make him weaker, but Superman's a lot. This is like not to like give fuel to the Snyder Cut feel, but like this is the weakest Superman ever because just even like, oh well, if we get this metal whatever engineer stuff in his lungs, he'll die. I'm like, lots of versions of Superman I know ain't dying of that. Like it's just like,
well, he didn't.
But he was gonna, remember? They said
but they're like, he can only last 1 minute, and he lasted until he lasted.
But you got that. You got his shoulder separated. You had that moment where everyone thought that, oh, his red eyes in the movie were going to be when he's just doing so much heat vision. It's because that's like, no, because Ultraman fucked him up. So I'm not saying it's a con. I'm just saying they definitely depowered him a little bit.
Catching buildings and stuff, though. He was...
Yep. But they still devoured him. He didn't see
Only
man.
3
he,
years in.
he didn't see Henry Cavill or Christopher Reeve's shoulder
but
like
fuck, look at Henry
popped.
Cavill. He's jacked. Look at
Yeah,
David
Christopher
Forsythe.
Reeve though he didn't have no shoulder separation back then.
That's true. He wasn't handling another Superman though. Maybe that's the issue.
He did in Superman 3. Look, there's no separated
Oh
shoulder.
my god, yeah, you got me. There you go.
Yeah, I got you.
Moving on.
The Superman sucks. He gets ass kicked. He sucks. Snyder cut.
He's no
Go
Jimmy
get him.
Olsen. You see
Yeah, he's
the
no Jimmy
see the
Olsen.
package on that guy?
Yeah,
Come
no
on now.
Samson there. And yeah, that just reminded me too of like another, because I just want to not forget this when he fought the Raptors. Great moment when they all cover him and he's just like spinning and doing barrel rolls and they're all flying off him. Fantastic moment. Very comic booky. He just lasers them. All great stuff
I
there.
always assumed those were just like robots, but like they're people in there, and he just fucking like melted them, and you just see them falling to the ground.
But they actively showed that all of them were like alive, right? Did you see? 'Cause
I
they're all, like,
know,
moving-
but I
Yes.
like the ones they didn't show. They got dismembered. I'm sure.
I feel like they had to, because they had Hawkgirl be like, "I'm not Superman," and imagine she would
Yeah.
have said that, but then like 5 minutes later, he's like killing hundreds of people.
I'm Superman.
Yeah, like
His red
I'm
eyes.
Hawkgirl. Yeah, so it wouldn't have worked there. But let's take probably what I think will be our final ad break, couple last shoutouts, and we'll be right back. And we're back. So also we got the big cameo to talk about. We'll save that. Well, I guess we got 2 cameos to talk about. We'll save that at the end. But anything else film related, whether it's characters, scenes, anything we haven't touched upon? Obviously, I know we will talk about this movie again, and we're just fresh off, so I know we're forgetting some stuff. But anything jumping to the forefront of the mind?
Perry was like a nothing character at all. You see him again like at the end when they're like pitching the whole news article to him, and I'm like, oh right, this guy's in this movie. I totally forgot about him.
Yep.
And then he's like, kid, call me Perry, and it's supposed to be like a big like holy fuck, that's
This
Perry
isn't
moment.
earned. This is not
yeah,
earned.
nothing. And we just watched all those retros, and I felt zero anything for this Perry. So yeah, that was. I get why you have him in there, but it like you don't really need to have him
Sometimes
in
you don't.
here.
Sometimes you don't. You can
He just
mention
always
him,
has this cigar.
you can mention him by name, and then in the sequel, of hey, we're gonna have a lot of Perry White in here. That's
Yeah.
when you cast Perry White. Don't need to, same way as like Offset never happened, but in Amazing Spider-Man 2, when there was no role for Jonah, but they just have Peter get an email from Jonah being like, these pictures are ass or whatever. It's like perfect. That's all you need right there. So
Yeah.
anything else plot wise though, Kirkland, or no?
No, I got all my grievances out.
Taylor?
Nope.
So let's talk about the first cameo, which was just kind of wild. Like it's 3, because you did get Sean Gunn's Maxwell Lord, so good for that. But the biggest, I'll say surprise, because the other one was big, but this was a surprise. Shouldn't be, because the show's coming out in a month. But that scene that we talked about, where there's the glowing orb, and I actually will say, I liked that. I really enjoyed that scene. I actually really liked the ending moment, the last fight, of Lois just being like, I knew this wasn't gonna work, because I just feel like that felt like a Travis moment. I feel like many times in my life, under my breath, just say that the person's like, "What?" and it's the what is it, the goddamn Guy Gardner, like the what of what, like you just play it off. But I liked that relationship struggle. I liked that they were only 3 months in, already dropping the love bomb, so they're moving fast. But then they did establish that they've known each other for a while before that, so it's fine. But that scene, even though it was distracting for a multitude of reasons, I really liked her like motivation. The same thing of just like, I'm a prior. I like to just question, which that's another thing. She's like, where there's you and you just see everyone and they're beautiful to you. I needed more of that from Clark Kent Superman. We did not
I
see
agree.
that at all. That was just something told to us, not shown. So again,
I mean, he's saving squirrels. He's saving everyone.
that's
He's
not
always
what she said
seen-
though. She didn't say you're saving everybody. It says you see the beauty in everyone, which I
he gives
get
the
what you're
redemption to
saying.
Lux, or
Yeah, I
fucking
get what you're
Lux.
saying.
Lex at the end.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. As far
I agree,
as,
though. I wanted more of that for sure. I
Yeah.
feel like that's such a cornerstone of the character, and we didn't really double down on that. It's just, as you said, told to us.
Yeah, it's definitely there in sprinkles. Though I wanted the full cake of it. I wanted that when she says that for me to go, yeah, that's right, and not be like, I don't know if I've seen that yet. Like I feel like I'm not. That's not exactly earned. It's the same thing in Justice League when they're like, oh, Superman was a beacon of hope. It's like, I don't think Henry Cavill was a beacon of hope. Like, when did that happen? When was he a beacon for anything? So sometimes they just talk a lot with Superman. I digress. But I like that scene. I like them talking about the punk rock and everything and calling out that band. And she sees the band poster later on, fictional band. What I will say, this reminded me of, really, really did not like the last song. Not the song, but that use of that song to end the movie. That to me should have been uplifting Superman score. They used a punk rock song, and it just didn't work for me. I get what they're trying to say, that being nice is the new punk rock, and they're hitting you over the head with it. Like, we're going to play punk rock music. Let John Murphy do this thing. Let him do a great score, whatever. But so he's sitting there. He lands on his patio, and the TV's already on. Later on they establish that Lois is crashing, but Lois is there. And they go back to that guy who's from Wet Hot American Summer, being like, yeah, and I couldn't believe Superman's a bad guy. What do you think about it, Chris? And they pan over. It's John Cena, his full Peacemaker gear, like, all these fucking guys are awful. Like, I'm paraphrasing, but he's just doing the whole
I'm not
Peacemaker.
surprised. These type of guys,
Yeah,
fuck,
you can't
that
trust
killed
them.
me. Yeah.
They never want anything to do with me. That should tell you what's wrong with them. Like,
Tyler and I were like, I don't even know what he said after that because I just was laughing so hard at the initial reaction.
and it's funny because in the Peacemaker trailer, he goes to have that interview with the Justice Gang, and I wonder if this is gonna come up. I wonder if this is why he's not gonna get the job, because he was shit talking Superman and them. But it just was like a natural, like, that was James. That to me is James Gunn's crown jewel in, like, the DCU so far, more than Creature and Suicide Squad. So great way to get him in there. I'm happy it didn't leak, and it made me very excited that we got a month to go and Peacemaker is back. So it was just, I don't know, that really worked for me. So Kirk, are we happy to see Peacemaker here?
Yeah, no, I loved it. That was one of my favorite moments of the whole movie, especially that it was just such a surprise. Like, his costume is nothing close to being discreet. Like, it's just so popping with the big fucking chrome mask, and the line delivery was just so great, especially just knowing, like, what that character is and just how much of a dick he can be, the way he's just shitting on Superman there. And I mean, it's also.
Could you imagine a scene with him and Guy together? That would be.
Oh,
something.
I hope we get there one day.
I hope we
That'd
get
be
there
fantastic.
one day. Yeah.
But like, although this is like the first DCU, like, I already feel like this world is bigger than where we were at in, like, 2008 Iron Man.
Absolutely.
Right? Like, Iron Man, it was very close. Closed, just in the sense of, like, what's out there. But yeah, I already feel like we're in an established world. So kudos to them. But yeah, comedy wise, that was gold. I think, like, everyone really reacted to that, which I don't know. I don't know how popular Peacemaker is in just the general audience sense, but maybe people are just surprised by seeing John Cena.
Yeah, and seen as popular, and that's the stuff where that's a perfect way where I agree with Gunn. Even though we didn't talk about this, I guess I kind of get it. If you're going to do those end credits, I would just say don't do those end credits. Don't do them. I don't think they're needed. I think people just will kind of dog on them. But that to me is a perfect way of Gunn said, hey, I don't want to do too much alluding to stuff in the future, or an end credit being like, oh, look at this character. This is a perfect way to, hey, we want to promote Peacemaker that's in a month. How do we do that? And it's not like an end credit of Peacemaker like me and Superman or kicking some ass, something like that. It's just like, oh, he's going to appear in the film. That puts it in people's mind. I think most people are going to walk away being like, oh, I really found that thing funny, or I liked that moment. And then it's like the show's in a month. That is perfect cross promotion, perfect way to do it, instead of like, oh, Harry Styles is here in this end credit? No, put him in the movie. And it works too, because it's promotion, but it works for the movie because it's another hero questioning Superman and his morals, right? So just perfect trifecta thing done by Gunn and team with that one. So, Taylor, what were your thoughts on Peacemaker?
That was one thing that I was not expecting at all. And I think it was great. Just low key on a television late night show interview. And he's watching it, and it's just, even though the camera was panning off the TV, I was just completely fixated on everything John Cena was saying. 100%. Just because he started, he's going to say something funny, and this is just not what Superman should be watching at this point in his career. But yeah, he really, really cracked me up. It was really, really funny. So I think it was great. I think it was definitely good, well timed.
Mm-hmm. And then again, to end us off, we all thought this was coming, but I think a lot of us thought, oh, it's probably going to come in the end credit. No, it did not. Came in the actual movie, which made sense because they referred to this a little bit we had going in, but in the movie multiple times, Clark mentions, hey, this isn't my dog. It's a foster situation. I'm watching it for someone. All these lines dropped, right? And then the robots will show up. Oh, robots will all fine and whatnot. And then he's there getting fixed up at the end of this movie, and then someone comes crashing in, and you just say, "Oh, you moved the door." And he's like, "I didn't move any door." Like, it's always the same thing. Gets up, and the robot's like, "Oh, your cousin has arrived." Gets up, Millie Alcock's there. Again, just like the Peacemaker thing, perfect way to promote this because one, just okay, Supergirl, you're again establishing a world larger heroes, and two, I said this is what I said to Taylor in the car. I was like, I get it. Hollywood's the way it is. You gotta do auditions. You gotta meet with people. But the fact, and even Gunn said this when him and Peter were watching House of Dragons, they're like, that's Supergirl. But it's like, if there was any doubt, she was always the fucking like choice, and like a woman to more is very specific super girl. But for me, it's just like she's so young in her career and she already just radiates massive fucking star power. Like already, I don't want to be that guy. Already in that scene with Corn Sweat, it felt like she was controlling that scene from like my eyes were on her, not just because like it's new and she's a good looking broad and everything. It's just like she just had an energy that was like, man, and I think Supergirl's gonna blow up. I don't know how that movie's gonna be, but she's gonna hit a fucking grand slam. And everything about the scene, I was like, now when we do our goal or our movie preview, before I was like, okay, like depending on Superman, but just that one scene alone, that's a top 5 like anticipated movie now. I cannot wait to see what she does as Kara, and I thought that was just fantastic. I love it. Had the costume, but it had like the big fluffy jacket. She's calling Superman a bitch, hence my name. Like, oh, see you later, bitch. Like the complete opposite of what Superman is, which to me is much better what Kara should be because, like, if it's just a 1-to-1 of I'm hopeful and I'm
Yeah.
Clark Kent, I'm hopeful and I'm Kara. It's like, no, this is great. And now already I'm like, and not to disparage David, it was more a compliment for Millie to bring that back up. I cannot wait for whether it's Justice League or whenever when they are together for a half a movie or a bunch of scenes. Like fantastic, and yeah, already it felt like okay, I cannot wait to see Millie Alcock as Kara, and I can't wait for next July. That was a pitch perfect introduction, very fun scene.
Yeah, no, it was 10 out of 10. I wanted more of it. She carried that whole sequence. I don't know much more to add. I'm already. I mean, I loved her in House of the Dragon. I loved her in Sirens.
Yeah.
And seeing her like here in the suit, it's just, yeah. No, I'm ready. I'm ready to witness this character and jump into more adventures with her. I thought it was what was that?
Witness, you said witness, like witness me.
Shouts at Nicholas Holt.
Yeah. Witness me.
Um,
Mediocre.
Fuck, that's such a good movie. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I love just the details too of like she's just visiting red suns because their metabolism they can't
Yes.
get drunk. Like she's just going to these party galaxies for living her best life, whatever the hell she's doing. And also just like yeah, like she was great in that scene, but even just like David Corn Sweat's like playing off of like he doesn't even like say like, oh hey, how's it going, where you been? It's just like, oh there she is, no
Oh,
door is
fuck,
not
yeah.
moved. Yeah, okay, when am I gonna see you next? Like you got the dog, okay, yeah, blah blah blah. So I already feel like they're a family, and just like that dynamic, I'm excited to see her, him, and both of them together. So yeah, great.
Taylor?
Yeah, it got to the back portion of the movie here. I was thinking, okay, I had to remind myself that she's here, she's gonna pop up, and I had no idea what the context was gonna be. And so her being the rightful owner of crypto, it made me thought, okay, so we're gonna see crypto in her movie. That'll be kind of fun. But yeah, her just coming in and just I couldn't do anything else except laugh when she was giggling and Crypto was like smashing her head against the ground, and Crypto's just like roughhousing and swinging around and stuff
Oh,
like that.
yeah,
I was
that
like,
was great.
fuck, and she's
Yeah.
just
So Marco
giggling
does
as
to
her
me when I
head's
get home.
so I'm very much looking forward to it. She's just again another actress that just fit right into the role. Didn't feel like anything else. Like obviously it's an actress, but they just embody that character really, really well. And it seems like a very, very different type of Supergirl in comparison to what the movie was back in the day that we watched and we retroed. So I'm always down to see
She ain't
it.
calling Chris Reeve a bitch, you know.
No, she's not. So it'll be funny to see how her portrayal is.
I
Maybe
just couldn't
Batman.
imagine. Yeah, I just couldn't even imagine Chris Reeve like reacting to that, you know, being called a bitch by his his cousin, you know.
It
So
was like very very
I'm
stiff.
never gonna talk to her again. But yeah,
You know, he'd be like,
You know, just having fun, man. Making movies.
just no reaction at all. To anything.
100%. A no drops a single episode. Tom Cruise gets to drop. You know what a fitting way. Ratings? Anything else? Or ratings?
We didn't really talk about them, but the Superman bots I loved.
Yeah.
I love the look of them.
Good.
The lines were really good. Just like the humor around
Practical.
them, how it's like they're practical. That's cool.
I think
like that.
like almost. I'm sure
Yeah.
the scenes where they're fighting engineer or not, but they built a bunch of those robots. So which is you can
Really
you
love the
can feel it,
design.
so yes.
Yeah, it looked really cool, and just the humor. I love the line at the end where it's like you could have given me a name. It's like four is a name, so is Gary. Like I don't know, it just doesn't seem like a line that would normally get me, but just like in the moment, it totally worked for me. And yeah, they tried to defend the house, but they got fucked up pretty handedly.
Mhm.
And like they're just making more of them because at one point you're like at the beginning it's like meet 12, she's new.
Yeah,
Um,
I guess so.
yeah,
They got nothing else to do.
I guess so.
Yeah. Anything else?
Oh, and the Sanctum Sanctorum. I also that's not what it's called.
I was like,
I'm
what did
tr-
I miss?
I'm crossing over to another galaxy. It's getting late, but the Fortress of Solitude. I like how it just like rotates, goes in the
Yeah.
ice.
Cool design.
Like how they heal him, which is the fucking magnifying glass. Yeah, all of that worked with me. And then also when Metamorpho Man, whatever the hell his name is, makes
Metamorpho.
that sun in the key galaxy, whatever the fuck it's called. But
Yeah.
like that scene.
I like the scene. I didn't need the beat of the two other people like, I'm telling Lex first.
Yeah, it didn't even work at all. Like the
No.
guards would have came anyways. They just
Yeah.
made a sun, so yeah, it was weird.
Odd choice. I'll go first because my rating might be the lowest. I'm going back and forth between like a 7 and an 8. I need a watch again. So I'm not a solid 8, and that's where my expectations were. I was more at one point, honestly, like in the first act. I was looking like a 6.5. I was not loving my time there. But I think what I'm going to do is I am going to bump it up to 8 because what I talked about those last points in the opening, where I really appreciate trying to use as much practical stuff as before, and I liked a lot of the set stuff. Even though, yeah, some of the outside stuff has that weird like commercial kind of look to it we've talked about before. Whatever, I got past it. That was the world, and again, it was the political stuff. To me, that's more just them having the balls to do that, and that makes it feel have a bit more weight, even. I need to watch it again. What happened?
What the fuck happened? You just bowed out of the room for a second.
Who,
I've
me?
Yeah, I didn't kick you. Taylor,
Oh,
did you
my
kick me?
hands weren't even. That's fucking weird.
Taylor maybe kicked you.
I
Okay.
might have kicked you when I went to hit mute for a second.
Oh.
You just fell asleep.
Yeah. Imagine if I wasn't a guest, I couldn't get back in.
I
and
need
like,
that
yeah.
sunlight to beam on me right now,
Yeah.
like super.
So yeah, I liked those risks that they took of being a bit more weighty with that stuff. So yeah, I don't know where I am. I think I'm always gonna bounce back between a 7 and 8. So this is like a loose score. Like maybe I'll say it's like a 7.75. Like I need to think on it more, and I definitely need to see it. I need to talk about it. So yeah, I think it didn't hit as hard overall as I wanted. I think the back half was very strong. I think the main thing is all the casts, which we kind of figured were great choices. And I think these are, if whatever, even if I don't love this one, whether it's Justice League or Superman 2 or them and other stuff, if we are like the MCU and we can get a 10 years of the DCU or the Chapter 1, whatever, very happy with these actors playing these characters. And because that's one of my complaints is I just want more. I'm not, and as I've said before, if you have to keep the movie 2 hours, then fine, cut some other stuff and give me more Clark and Lois. I thought Lex was done perfectly because they gave him his motivations. He's a bad guy. Think that was perfectly fine. And like I said, any issues I had with Cornswet was not his acting, was anything more writing wise. So yeah, I'm gonna go like a 7.75. Could go up, but I don't think it would go any higher than an 8. And I don't think it'd go any higher than a 7 because I think there's some moments like that last fight with him in the sky and doing the laser, or his last conversation with Lex. There's some moments that when they hit, they are hidden great on a comic book level. So yeah, enjoyed the movie. Maybe not as much as I was hoping, but I am now excited for this universe, and it's, I would say, a much better start than as far as the universe goes. Not for as far as rankings, but if you're looking into a DCU a much better start than where Man of Steel was. And don't get me wrong too. I think there's tons of people like you guys are more positive. I've seen tons of people positive. So maybe this one just didn't hit for me. But I'm not like I didn't walk away. I had issues with the movie, but I didn't walk away like, man, I don't know about this DCU. So that's where I am. I'll say 7.75, but give asterisks for now. We'll return back to this next year with Golden Geeks, and I'll maybe have a full on rating or ranking then. So that's where I am. Who wants to take it next?
I will take it. I felt like when I left the movie, I was in the eights. I was in the high eights range, in the, I don't know, the 87s, the 88s with a point in the middle, like somewhere around there. And I like as we were talking about some scenes, I feel like I was kind of ebbing in the downward direction, but here we are at the end of all things. I'm gonna give it a nice even 9 for this night's rating. Yeah, I had a really fun time with this movie, and I feel like the plot piece with Jor-El and just mating with all Earth's women and be the king of the world. Like I didn't like that at all in the moment, but like I don't know. I was able to look past it just because the adventure was really fun and the performances were really fun, and already shouted it out, but I just really love the combat in this movie, and there's so much of it, and just different types of fights, hand to hand, 1v1v1, like there's just many different dynamics, big monster kaiju, day scenes, night scenes, and like they just all looked really good. There's crypto in there at times, so I was really impressed with that, and I feel like that's not always easy to pull off when you have like a superhero character like Superman, because like a lot of the fights with the scale with how powerful he is, like that's where you're getting into like the anime realm where like they're breaking mountains, cliff sides, like they're just flying across rivers, and it's just like to do that on a live action movie, it's not always easy to pull off, but it looked really good, and that's a big reason why I recommend seeing this in theaters. I thought it was a really fun, and another like little minor detail that I forgot to shout out, but like when he's flying to the Fortress of Solitude, when he finds out that they got the footage, like where was it, and he's just like zooming there, and you always see him like going the speed of light, essentially like faster than a bullet, but like when he's going through rain clouds, and he goes through like multiple different ones as if he's just going through like different areas of the world that are in a different weather situation right now. Like I just like the little details like that they threw in there, and just the flying all looked really good. So yeah, really impressed by this. I can see my score maybe going down slightly on a rewatch. Maybe those scenes that I don't really think bother me that much right now, maybe they'll bother me more on a rewatch. But yeah, as of right now, I'm pretty happy with that score, and yeah, very pleased and excited for the future of the DCU. I will be following their career with much interest.
Yeah, I think I'm going to give this a 8.5. 8.5 out of 10.
Okay, so
I had a really good time. I liked it a lot more than I was expecting to going into the theater, and I think, yeah, some of the CGI like creatures, probably just the kaiju and a few other things, they just looked really freaking good. And if I was doing like a side by side between that kaiju and then the dinosaurs from Jurassic World, Universal could learn a few things for the
Kaiju
CGI
was looking
department.
good.
It looked
especially some of
really
those
good.
close-ups, yeah.
Oh yeah, like when he drops the lady on the roof and behind the kaiju and it's destroying, like it looks so detailed and realistic. It looked really good. So the effects definitely nailed it on this movie, and I think overall there were some, as I said earlier, comedic things that didn't land with me. The one thing that didn't work was the door slowly rising up when they're getting Mr. Terrific's ship. That joke and everything totally did not work for me. I thought it was pretty bland. Like, we've seen this a billion times. But a lot of other things, I think it really worked. There was lots of good stuff in this movie. And I definitely am glad that we got to see it on the big screen. I hope many other people that get to see this on the big screen, because it's worth it. I'm going to go to work tomorrow and recommend it to my coworkers. I've been getting asked all week, like, "Oh, you've seen Superman? You have to let me know how it is. Let me know how it is, because I'm thinking about going." So I'm gonna tell everyone I see, like, go see it, because it's a good time in the
You know
theater.
what the Snyder Cut Reddit.
Yeah, go on the Reddit. There is a guy to my
Find me in
left.
there.
There is a guy to my left. He was like 2 seats over, and in the first 10 minutes of the movie, he dropped his phone 3 times. It's like,
Dude,
buddy,
okay,
what the fuck?
yeah.
What is going
He
on?
Did you hear him?
He dropped it, and then like 10 seconds later, he dropped it again. I'm like, dude, just leave it. Just leave it at this
Jesus
point. I didn't even hear the third one, but that's crazy.
It was horrible. Like, I don't know how you keep fucking up that bad.
What was he doing there? Did he just have a hole in his
He's
pocket?
trying to
or something?
record, trying to record the movie.
Look up, and it's just like a blowjob POV of the movie. God. Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. We've done it. We all sound like we're kind of in that 8 to 9 variety similarities. So yeah, we'll see what happens. As we talked about earlier, we'll be back. We're back every week, sometimes daily when we get in the weekly. But we'll be back for the DCU in August with Peacemaker. So we'll get some more stuff there. I'm gonna say after this, I bet that they return the favor, and I bet Corn Sweat is in that fucking show. I think they're gonna. I think they're gonna do it. I don't know if that's
Peacemaker?
the smartest thing. Yeah, I think so. I think they're gonna. They already had, remember, Aquaman and Flash in the last one, and then he couldn't use the other characters. But that's the fun thing, that we have a new universe. And I'll say this: no matter my thoughts, I think we all agree that I think this universe is hopefully going to be way more stable than the DCE, which was going through many different hands and presence. So that's what I hope, and that gets me excited for all this stuff, and we'll see what happens. And yeah, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Let us know, Discord, YouTube, Patreon, wherever, your thoughts on the movie, anything we missed, anything you want us to talk about, because we talk about it in the future. And then yeah, we'll do an After 9 probably in August after GV Day, so everyone's seen this, Fantastic Four, Jurassic, and we got a lot of stuff to talk about with the patrons. But thank you very much for listening to this review. I promise when you hear from us next, it'll not be boring.